Douluo Dalu. Life or Death Pact. It begins with a forced kiss to Qian Renxue. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 376. The Stunned Phoenix God, the Angel's Divine Power Contribution. That is to say, once Chu Ye's domain evolves to the God-level domain, then all God-level domains will be swallowed up, suppressed, and unusable by the God-demon domain. The effect of my God-demon domain is indeed a great means to suppress the enemy, but since it is unlimited to the God-level domain, it doesn't matter, because my ability to really defeat you is not based on it at all. Chu Ye said, and continued to open his trump card. The Power of the Dragon God. After he released his external soul bone and the power of the Dragon God, Chu Ye's power has climbed to the peak of the third level God. He already has the power to fight with an ordinary second level God. Terrible. It's really terrible. The Phoenix God was more and more shocked, and his eyes were already extremely fearful. That kind of fear was not Chu Ye's current power, but potential. But he should stop here. Seeing this scene, the power reached this level, the Phoenix God was actually shaken in his heart. No matter whether Chu Ye could defeat him next, win or lose, he has now made a decision to let this young man leave the God realm safely. But just after the Phoenix God finished saying this, he suddenly found that Chu Ye's breath and power was still rising. What? His power is still rising. Share power. As Chu Ye opened the last trump card of the life and death contract between him and Qian Renxue, at this moment, his power began to surge wildly at an extremely terrifying speed. Countless angelic powers, combined with his power, emanated from his body. How is this possible? This is impossible, this is impossible. The Phoenix God roared wildly in his heart, but on the surface he was completely stunned, with his eyes wide open and his mouth wide open. It felt like his jaw was about to drop, and he looked at Chu Ye with an unimaginable look. Although Chu Ye's current power has not reached the peak of the second level God, nor is it stronger than the Phoenix God, it seems to have surpassed the Phoenix God, who can only use the fifth level of power now. Chu Ye's mouth raised a slight smile. Phoenix God, the contest between you and me has just begun. Infinity Blade. Ushu. The first move of the God and Demon Sword technique, the Sunday and Moon Demon God. Phoenix God slash. Chu Ye and the God of Phoenix ran at the same time, and fought again in this evil God space, and both sides screamed their swords at the same time. They waved their swords at the same time. At this moment, the two artifacts collided with each other at the same time. Bang! Boom boom boom! The terrifying energy impact directly enveloped the entire life and death arena. The two forces were madly output and confronted. Bang! Finally, with an explosion, both sides were shaken apart at the same time. Good boy, good boy. You really exceeded my expectations. The God of Phoenix's fighting spirit was also completely burned. The God realm can be said to be a very peaceful place. It is almost indifferent to the world. There is no struggle or conflict, so sometimes power is useless in the God realm. The God of Phoenix didn't know how long it had been since he had experienced such a well-matched and passionate battle. Harder. Bang bang bang. At this moment, the two launched a peak duel, fighting and fighting fiercely in close combat. At the same time, both sides used various skills one after another. Various skills, combined with close combat, bombing, output, and confrontation. The crazy fierce battle continued, extremely fierce, and evenly matched. The two became more and more crazy and excited. They kept fighting at the highest intensity for an hour. Both the Phoenix God and Chu Ye had already left countless wounds and scars, but they both had terrifying endurance and recovery abilities. In the process of fighting, they kept leaving wounds, but they recovered quickly, but Chu Ye's current endurance and recovery ability were ultimately not as good as the Phoenix God. After an hour of fighting, Chu Ye's Phoenix passive effect had been knocked out. Infinity Blade, God level skill, Infinity Slash. 8th soul skill, Phoenix Feather. Puff. Both sides spit out blood at the same time, and at the same time, they were repelled by the power of the other side. The status of both of them has declined rapidly, and their soul power, physical strength, and all aspects of their conditions are weakening. However, the power of the domain of the Phoenix God can keep him in a certain state and will not decline anymore. This is due to the effect of his domain. In addition to improving the amplification effect, the domain effect of the Phoenix God can also make the Phoenix God immortal as long as he is in the domain. He can be reborn at any time through the Phoenix flame in the domain. In other words, the Phoenix God can last indefinitely, and will be reborn from the ashes as long as the domain is opened, unless the domain is broken, or the strength is far greater than that of the Phoenix God, and he directly uses absolute powerful force to suppress the Phoenix domain. Otherwise, there is only one way, that is attribute restraint. In other words, you must have a stronger ice and water attribute than the opponent to suppress the Phoenix flame at that moment. And Chu Ye has never exposed his ice and water element attribute power until now. Your current strength is already superior to mine, which is only at the 5th level of strength. Originally, I would not be your opponent, but unfortunately, you cannot break my Phoenix domain as long as you can't break my domain. No matter how many times you suppress me with your power, or how much damage you cause to me, you will not be able to defeat me if we fight to the end. You will be defeated by me due to the exhaustion of your soul and physical strength. So, young man, what will you do next? The Phoenix God raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Chapter 377. Upon learning that Qian Renxue was pregnant, Chu Ye's fighting spirit suddenly surged from the battle just now to now. The Phoenix God has passed through his Phoenix domain and reborn twice, and the speed of the opponent's rebirth from the fire is very fast each time. The first time, Chu Ye didn't know that the opponent's domain had this kind of infinite resurrection skill. The second time, because the speed was too fast, before he could react, the opponent had already resurrected again. But Chu Ye will not give the Phoenix God a third chance. The water element attribute power that he has been hiding must be used at the best time. One chance, one time, to defeat the Phoenix God. And through the 2 rebirths of the Phoenix God just now, Chu Ye also found out some details. The most important point is that the more damage the opponent suffers, the slower the speed of the Phoenix God's rebirth will be. So now, he must use the strongest skill to make the Phoenix God fall into the state of fire again, and then suppress the Phoenix flames in one fell swoop through his own water element attribute power, so that it cannot be reborn. But it is not so simple to achieve this step. Chu Ye took a deep breath, made the final preparations, and then killed the Phoenix God again. Hush! Bang! The 2 sides once again launched a fierce fight. At this moment, 61 days have passed in the mortal world. Qian Renxue has been pregnant for more than 2 months. At this time, her belly has changed a little bit bigger, but in fact, she can't see it with clothes. Qian Renxue gently stroked her belly, stood on a high place, and looked into the distance silently. She could feel that Chu Ye was borrowing her power now. She understood that there was only one reason why Chu Ye opened the power sharing, that is, fighting, so Qian Renxue guessed that Chu Ye might have encountered some trouble. If you encounter trouble in the God realm and need to fight, then the opponent must be God. Qian Renxue didn't know what Chu Ye was going through, but she knew that she had to give Chu Ye motivation, so she decided to tell Chu Ye the news of her pregnancy. Originally, she wanted to wait for Chu Ye to come back and give him a surprise, but if Chu Ye is facing difficulties now, then the news of the child will definitely bring Chu Ye an extremely strong fighting spirit and motivation. Chu Ye, are you coming back soon? Chu Ye, who was fighting, heard Qian Renxue's voice, but he did not respond distractedly, but continued to focus on fighting the Phoenix God. I'm pregnant. What? Chu Ye's eyes widened. At that moment, it was like a conditioned reaction. He did not realize his own strength at all. He suddenly became extremely terrifying and chopped the Phoenix God away with a sword. Bang! Boom! Oh my God! What's wrong with this kid? Why did he suddenly become so fierce? The Phoenix God was very surprised when he was chopped away, because after fighting for so long, he knew how much strength Chu Ye had. The sword just now seemed to be a force beyond the limit. Zwaya, you are pregnant. Chu Ye was surprised. He stopped attacking and stood there. The Phoenix God also noticed that something was wrong. He looked puzzled and did not attack immediately. Well, we have a child, Chu Ye, you're going to be a father soon, so you have to come back safely, come back quickly, and we'll watch the baby being born together, okay? Qian Renxue said very gently. Dad. I'm going to be a father. Ha 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 ha. Chu Ye instantly became excited and couldn't help laughing. This sudden surprise instantly filled him with an extremely surging fighting spirit. What's going on? The Phoenix God frowned slightly, and he didn't delay any longer. At that moment, he immediately killed Chu Ye. Chu Ye, who was excited, had a sharp look in his eyes, and chopped the Phoenix God with another sword. Bang! Boom. This kid, the Phoenix God, was chopped away by a sword again, with a confused look on his face. He couldn't understand why Chu Ye suddenly became stronger. Swear, wait for me. Wait until I come back. I will definitely appear in front of you before our child is born. At this moment, Chu Ye's fighting spirit, and aura have reached an unprecedented peak. He slowly looked at the Phoenix God in front of him. Chu Ye's state has completely changed. The Phoenix God can clearly feel it, but he doesn't know what Chu Ye has experienced just now. He asked, "Boy, what are you laughing at just now?" "I'm going to be a father," Chu Ye said proudly. "What?" The Phoenix God was stunned. "Phoenix God, watch, now, how can I defeat you?" Chu Ye slowly closed his eyes. At this moment, his sword intent actually broke through to the peak, reaching the sword intent, the highest level of sword intent, the realm of unity between man and sword. The surrounding scenes began to change, the sun and the moon took turns to replace. "Phoenix God, take out your strongest moves and confront me head-on in the final duel, do you dare?" Chu Ye's voice echoed. The next second, the power of the sun and the moon began to merge into Chu Ye's body. Senlo array, sun and moon rotating. God and demon sword technique, second style, God and demon killing God slash. You can't break my Phoenix domain, but you still want to use the strongest moves to confront me head-on? Even if your power suppresses me in a head-on confrontation, so what? I will be reborn from the ashes, and after you release your strongest moves, your power will be exhausted. 9th soul skill. The Phoenix God said, and immediately mobilized the strongest soul ring skills under the God ring. The power of both sides bombarded each other terribly. But in an instant, it was shattered by Chu Ye's power. Bang. Boom. Ah. The Phoenix God screamed and got up. There was no time to breathe. Chu Ye's attack came again. 9th soul skill, God and demon destroy the world. This is already one of Chu Ye's strongest skills. The terrifying power, falling, made the Phoenix God extremely afraid. Even if I mobilize the power of the 10th level, I can't be careless. This kid is really against the sky. At this moment, the golden 10th God ring finally rose under the feet of the Phoenix God. He used the Phoenix divine skill. The two forces confronted each other again, and the power was evenly matched. During this process, Chu Ye and the Phoenix God's status were both consumed at a high speed. Bang. Boom boom boom. After this attack, Chu Ye and the Phoenix God's status were both on the verge of limit, but the Phoenix God could still be reborn from the ashes through the effect of the domain and recover to a certain state. But Chu Ye could no longer recover. Next, even if Chu Ye had the ability to kill the Phoenix God, he would still be reborn from the ashes and recover to a certain degree. So, in the end, there were only two. Chapter 378 Defeat the Phoenix God and leave the Dragon Tomb. Either Chu Ye was completely defeated by the Phoenix God, or after Chu Ye killed the Phoenix God would be reborn from the ashes, and then recover to defeat Chu Ye at his limit. In the eyes of the Phoenix God, Chu Ye would lose no matter how he fought. But in Chu Ye's eyes, he had already won. You have reached your limit, and I can still be reborn from the ashes, so, kid, you are doomed to lose. The Phoenix God smiled again, and without hesitation, he killed Chu Ye again. He had nothing to fear. Even if he killed Chu Ye like this and was killed by Chu Ye, he could still be reborn, and even stronger after rebirth. Therefore, the Phoenix God had nothing to think about, and launched another attack. That may not be the case. Moon God. A golden scepter appeared in front of Chu Ye. This was one of his 6 great artifacts, the staff, which possessed extremely powerful defensive skills. Moon God, divine skill, Moon Guardian. At the same time, another artifact, Broken Army, appeared in Chu Ye's hand. Oh? There are 2 more divine weapons. This kid, who is obviously just a mortal, actually possesses so many weapons that are equivalent to divine weapons. The Phoenix God was envious, but still confident. But, it's just a dying struggle. Ding. Bang. Boom boom boom. Chu Ye's body seemed to have turned into a golden body, directly blocking the Phoenix God's sword. At this time, the potion in Chu Ye's hand emitted a strong light, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Phoenix God, you are doomed to lose. Pojonsen. Chu Ye directly launched the Pojon divine skill and chopped it hard with a sword. The power is indeed terrible, but with this level, you can't break my domain. As long as my Phoenix domain is not broken, no matter how many times you kill me, I can still be reborn from the ashes. The Phoenix God waved the Phoenix sword in his hand and chopped it head on. Hehe, I'm not going to break your domain. Chu Ye smiled confidently. Bang! Boom boom boom. The power of Po Jun's directly chopped off the phoenix sword in the hands of the phoenix god, and Po Jun chopped the phoenix god on the spot. Puff! Ah! At that moment, the body of the phoenix god was chopped in half by Chu Ye, but Chu Ye knew that with the phoenix domain, the other party could not die. If you don't break my domain, you can't stop me from being reborn from the ashes, unless, the body of the phoenix god was bombarded to the ground, but his voice was still echoing. At the same time, a large number of phoenix flames around him began to pounce on him. As he spoke, he saw the smile on Chu Ye's face, and he panicked before he finished speaking. This is. They have seen the extreme ice and water attribute that was quickly released from Chu Ye. Unless, I have an extreme ice and water attribute that is stronger than your extreme fire attribute, right? The extreme ice and water attribute, you actually hid it until now. The eyes of the Phoenix God became more and more terrified. It's over. Phoenix God. The next second, a large amount of power of ice and water elements in Chu Ye's body was released, and he rushed directly to the Phoenix Flame. Po Jun, when the opponent's state drops to half of its own, this artifact will grant an additional 30% damage. Po Jun's, when the opponent's state enters less than a quarter, the weaker the state, the stronger the damage amplification effect of Po Jun's will be. Therefore, Chu Ye did not let the Phoenix God continue to regenerate, but chose to use the previous two moves to beat the Phoenix God to the lowest state. In this way, the power of Po Jun's reached the limit. Before the Phoenix God was reborn from the fire, the more intense the damage it suffered, the slower the speed of rebirth would be, although this slowness may only be the difference between 1 second and 2 seconds. But for Chu Ye, it was enough to determine success or failure. The extreme ice and water attributes directly enveloped the Phoenix God, making it impossible for the Phoenix God to be reborn through the flame. Now, he was completely panicked. Because, at this moment, his life was already in Chu Ye's hands. Chu Ye could choose to kill him. If the Phoenix God died, no one would know that Chu Ye had entered the God realm. This was indeed a good choice for him. Stop. 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 Stop now. If I can't be reborn in a short time, I will die. You win. You win. I will do what I promised you. The Phoenix God said with a panicked look. Chu Ye hesitated for 2 seconds, and finally took back the power of the extreme ice water. At that moment, he did think about whether to kill the Phoenix God, because only the dead can keep secrets forever. Living always has to bear the risk of the other party going back on their words. But killing the Phoenix God also has the risk of being found by the God realm. After all, if a god dies, the god realm will inevitably track it down to the end, and may eventually find evidence and find it on Chu Ye. In this way, Chu Ye will be charged with the crime of killing gods. There is no need to think about killing gods. If he is caught now, it will definitely be a capital crime. Moreover, if it weren't for the Phoenix God, Chu Ye would have no chance at all if he only used the power of the 5th level. Now that he has the opportunity to kill the other party, he will abide by the rules of this battle. I hope you won't go back on your word one day. Chu Ye withdrew his power and released the evil god space. He looked pale and weak, and barely supported his body with the sword to prevent himself from falling. The Phoenix God breathed a sigh of relief, feeling as if he had walked through the gates of hell. He sighed in his heart. I didn't expect that I would lose to a level 99 Soul Master. The Phoenix Flame began to repair his body, allowing him to be reborn again, and then stood in front of Chu Ye intact. He smiled bigly. In fact, when you showed the power equivalent to that of a 2nd level god, I had already decided to let you go and let you leave safely. I continued to fight just to see how far you could go. I didn't expect you to be able to defeat me in the end. Dragon God there, you can go now. Don't worry, I will definitely do what I promised you. Even if I face difficulties, I will never let another person hear it from me. I hope you can do what you say, God of Phoenix. I hope that in the future, you and I will be friends instead of enemies. Chu looked at the God of Phoenix, and then said, Ginyu, let's go. Wait. Lord Chu Ye. Take me with you. The treasure hunting beast called out and quickly caught up with the pace of Chu Ye and others. The God of Phoenix silently looked at Chu Ye's back as he left. Young man, let me see the day when you lead the beast tribe back to the God realm. The next second, the God of Phoenix disappeared from the spot and went out first to deal with the guards outside for Chu Ye. More than an hour later, Chu Ye finally took Ginyu and the treasure hunting beast out of the range of the dragon tomb. Chapter 379 Return to Douluo Mortal Realm and sign the Master-Servant contract. Chu Ye and the others stepped out of the Dragon's room, and then headed all the way to the location where they were teleported to the God Realm. Dragon's room, I will come back again. Chu Ye looked back at the mountains and rivers in front of him. This trip to the Dragon Tomb in that God Realm was a safe one. Fortunately, he met a Phoenix God who was helpful to the Beast Clan. If it were any other human gods, Chu Ye was not sure how difficult it would be to leave safely. The many treasures in the Dragon's room, the dead dragons, and the inseparable relationship between himself, the Dragon Clan, and the Soul Beasts make Chu Ye understand that he would definitely return to the Dragon Tomb again. Let's go, Qian. Wait for me. Lord Chu Ye. The treasure hunting beast followed behind him all the way. The Dragon God had already identified Chu Ye, and planned to regard Chu Ye as his master. He would follow him in the future and use Chu Ye to restore it to its peak. The parasite on the Dragon God back then, the treasure hunting beast, had many magical uses, so Chu Ye would naturally take him with him. But when he absorbed the core of the Dragon God just now, he knew the situation outside. This guy actually wanted to take Qian and the others away and abandon himself here. Chu Ye had to think carefully about this. Chu Ye took the lead and ran, looking back at the treasure hunting beast following behind him. Do you want to leave the God Realm with me so much? Yes. Lord Chu Ye, you are the heir of the Dragon God, the future Lord Dragon God, you are my master, and I am your most loyal subordinate. The treasure hunting beast will serve you wholeheartedly in the future. The treasure hunting beast said seriously. Loyalty? You wanted to abandon me just now. If I encounter the danger of death again in the future, how can I be sure that you will not want to abandon me and run away again? Chu Ye said. Misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. Lord Chu Ye, just now I am. Hey, the treasure hunting beast wanted to quibble, but he couldn't argue. He could only prove himself with actions. He gritted his teeth and decided. Lord Chu Ye, I am willing to sign a master-servant contract with you, so you can always trust me, right? The treasure hunting beast does have such ability. If you sign a master-servant contract with others, you will be someone else's servant in the future, and you will never be trained, and you will live and die together. Master-servant contract. Okay, let's sign the contract after we return to the mortal world. Chu Ye smiled. Soon, everyone had arrived at the location where they were teleported to the divine world before. He could sense the location of the teleportation portal. He only needed to mobilize his Dragon God power. The next second, the space portal in the air would open again. Chu Ye, wait for me. I'll be back soon. Chu Ye was excited. He couldn't wait to go home and return to Qian Renxue. Let's go. Chu Ye jumped up and led everyone into the space portal, and finally left the divine world together. After a while, Chu Ye finally returned to the Dragon God space, and quickly left, and appeared in the core area of the Star Forest. At that moment, Qian sensed Gyu's breath, and there was another breath that he was very familiar with. Oh? That breath is, Qian's face changed, and he left the place in an instant, heading towards Chu Ye. Roar. Soon, a huge black dragon with golden eyes flew in the sky. Oh? That guy, could it be? The treasure hunting beast saw Qian's eyes. Qian confirmed that it was the treasure hunting beast's eyes also brightened. Qian was surprised and said, It's really you. Master Bao. You are still alive. The treasure hunting beast said with a smile. Oh, it's Qian. Master Bao, I didn't expect you to be so lucky. I thought you had died a long time ago. Qian said. TSK, how can I, Master Bao, die so easily? The treasure hunting beast rolled his eyes and said unhappily. The two sides haven't seen each other for a long time, and they are talking about the past. Although the treasure hunting beast is only a parasite with a relatively low bloodline, it is a parasite on the body of the Dragon God after all. It has a high status in the Dragon Clan. A junior like Qian has to address it as Master Bao. It's been so long since I last saw you, Qian. You have become much stronger. The treasure hunting beast nodded secretly. Master Bao, you have become much weaker. Qian remembered very clearly that when it was still a child in the God realm, the treasure hunting beast could possess the power equivalent to that of a first-level god. Humph. Now I follow Lord Chu Ye. With Lord Chu Ye's Dragon God power, I will return to the peak sooner or later. Okay, treasure hunting beast, let's sign a master-servant contract. I'm in a hurry. Chu Ye reminded. Okay, Lord Chu Ye. Soon, Chu Ye and the treasure hunting beast completed the master-servant contract. From now on, the treasure hunting beast is the most loyal subordinate under Chu Ye. This master-servant contract is different from the soul contract. It is just a binding relationship and will not obtain its power. The treasure hunting beast changed his words very wisely and asked proactively, "Master, is there anything I can do next?" "Yes, treasure hunting beast, can't you quickly cultivate immortal grass and have a strong ability to find treasures? Then your next task is to help me find all the immortal grass on Douluo Continent and help me cultivate immortal grass." Chu Ye smiled. Before bringing the treasure hunting beast out, Chu Ye had already thought about what to let the treasure hunting beast do. Now in a mortal world, Chu Ye is invincible and has no enemies. The combat power of the treasure hunting beast is useless in this mortal world, so just let it do what it is good at, cultivating immortal grass. After the Wuhan Empire unified the continent, the Sunset Forest had long become Chu Ye's private territory. Back then, all the immortal grass he brought out from the Yin-Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire were planted back in the Yin-Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire. Of course, in addition to the Yin-Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire, there must be other places on this continent where unknown immortal grass grows, which ordinary people cannot find, and even if they find it, ordinary people may not be able to recognize it. Therefore, all the immortal herbs in the continent can be found by the treasure hunting beasts, brought back, and then collectively planted in the Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire, so that it can be cultivated quickly. The Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire is set as the immortal herbs library of the Spirit Hall, which is continuously provided to the geniuses of the future Spirit Hall as a major resource for cultivation. Okay. Master, leave it to me, I will definitely search all the immortal herbs on the Douluo Continent. The treasure hunting beast patted his chest and promised, full of energy. You don't have to be too clean, leave some resources for others, don't pick those under 1,000 years old, take a look, as long as it is a quality immortal herb that is not in the Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire, bring back the seeds and seedlings. Chu Ye said. Chapter 380 Chu Ye, swear. I'm back. Come on, let me touch you. I understand. Leave it to me, master. Okay, I'm going back to Wuhan City right away. Treasure hunter, follow my instructions and go to the Yin-Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire first, and then go to the entire continent to look for the immortal grass. Chu Ye explained, then quickly left, running all the way to Wuhan City. Not long after, Chu Ye instantly appeared at the door of the Pope's palace. For Chu Ye, it was only a few hours since he last saw Qian Renxue, but for Qian Renxue, more than 80 days had passed. Qian Renxue was also about to be 3 months pregnant. Swear. Chu Ye quickly rushed into the Pope's palace, like the wind, flashing through the busy crowd. Swear. I'm back. Chu Ye shouted. At this moment, in the boudoir, Qian Renxue was sitting in front of the dressing table. When she heard Chu Ye shout, a smile suddenly rose on her face, and she flew out at the first time. Chu Ye. When Chu Ye saw Qian Renxue, he immediately locked onto Qian Renxue's belly. Her belly, which was almost 3 months old, was already quite obvious. Swear, come here. Chu Ye held Qian Renxue in his arms very gently. Qian Renxue also had a gentle look on her face, enjoying Chu Ye's embrace and nestling in his arms. Noticing Chu Ye's injuries, Qian Renxue felt very distressed. You are injured again. It's okay, you will be fine after a period of recuperation. Chu Ye smiled warmly, then slowly squatted in front of Qian Renxue, and said expectantly, "Come, let me touch it." Hihi, what's so good about this? Qian Renxue covered her mouth and smiled, but still slightly raised her belly for Chu Ye to touch. Chu Ye slowly stretched out his hand, very carefully placed his palm gently on Qian Renxue's bulging belly, and gently stroked it. Qian Renxue felt the faint residual warmth on Chu Ye's palm. With a sweet smile on her face, she looked down at Chu Ye. Chu Ye squatted and touched Qian Renxue's belly. Qian Renxue put one hand on her waist and touched Chu Ye's head with the other hand. Chu Ye even tilted his head and put his ear against Qian Renxue's belly, trying to hear something. The two of them paused in silence, very ordinary, but this ordinary scene was so warm and comfortable. Chu Ye asked curiously, "Swear, has he made any movement? Did he kick your belly?" "Papa, you silly boy. It's not even 3 months yet, how could he kick your belly so soon?" Qian Renxue was amused by Chu Ye and couldn't help laughing out loud. Chu Ye shook his head awkwardly and smiled innocently. Hehe, I was too excited and my brain short-circuited for a moment. Okay, get up quickly. Qian Renxue pulled Chu Ye and asked, "Chu Ye, you'll be a father soon. Have you thought about the name of your child?" Chu Ye stood up slowly, his expression gradually became serious, thinking. Not yet, it's not too early, we will name the child when we have time. I thought of a few names, listen to them and see how they feel. Okay, tell me. Qian Renxue said. If it's a boy, let's call him Shuhan. If it's a girl, let's call her Shuyu. How about it? Shuhan, Shuyu, I think it's okay, just do as you said. Chu Ye nodded, and then said. But, swear. But what? Qian Renxue asked puzzledly. I'm wondering, whose martial spirit will our child inherit? Chu Ye said. Qian Renxue said. Whether it is your god and demon sword, my six-winged angel martial spirit, or your second beast martial spirit that can evolve, they can all become god-level martial spirits. So, no matter whose martial spirit our children inherit, it will be very good. It doesn't matter. Martial spirits are usually inherited. What kind of martial spirit the offspring is derived from the father and mother of the previous generation. Therefore, the martial spirits of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's future children will basically only be the god and demon sword, the six-winged angel, and the beast martial spirit that Chu Ye can purify. There is also a situation where the martial spirit mutates into a martial spirit that is related to it but completely different. Of course, there may be other martial spirits, but the probability is too small. Generally speaking, the offspring will only inherit the stronger martial spirit between the father and the mother, but because Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's martial spirits are both god-level martial spirits, the strength of the two martial spirits is the same. Therefore, what martial spirit will be inherited in the end has become an uncertain factor. It doesn't matter if it's uncertain, Chu Ye doesn't care what martial spirit is inherited, mainly because he has other considerations, he said. Swear, my idea is that if our child inherits your six-winged angel martial spirit, then let him take your surname, Qian. Your Qian family should continue on this continent. Chu Ye said seriously. For that continuation of the family, they don't particularly care about the continuation of the family, and it doesn't matter whose surname they take, but the six-winged angel family actually attaches great importance to this aspect. The six-winged angel family is basically a single-line inheritance. Whether it is a man or a woman, as long as they get married and have children, their descendants will have the surname Qian. This is because the six-winged angel family has always been powerful, and the Qian family has taken the initiative in marriage, or let the man marry into the family. But in Qian Renxue's generation, Chu Ye is equally powerful. Under the same powerful situation, the younger generation, normally, has to take the father's surname. Qian Renxue had never thought that the child would take her surname, but after Chu Ye proposed it, she was very moved. But, Chu Ye, you are not marrying into the family, and it is not fair for you to take my surname. It's okay, swear, I don't care. Chu Ye shook his head and smiled. Qian Renxue thought about it and suggested. Chu Ye, how about this? After this child is born, I will continue to have a second child, one with your surname and one with my surname, so that we can have the best of both worlds. Swear, although I can't experience the feeling of pregnancy and childbirth, I know that childbirth is not an easy thing, and it may be very painful. Are you really willing? Chu Ye said seriously. Qian Renxue smiled and said, we have been through all kinds of hardships and pains along the way. Having a child is nothing. Let's decide. Let's have a second child, 2 children, and we will have company, right? Chu Ye smiled warmly. Ha, okay, then it's up to you. Have a second child. Of course, it's not impossible that you're pregnant with twins, or a boy and girl twins. The probability of that is too low, but it would be great if it were true. It would be done in one go, ha ha. Ha ha ha. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue smiled at each other. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 381. The Spirit Evolves Again. The sixth test of the Dragon God. After spending some time with Qian Renxue, Chu Ye went to heal his wounds. The battle with the Phoenix God left Chu Ye with many injuries. He needed a few days to recuperate and adjust, so he entered a state of seclusion. 3 days later, Chu Ye recovered almost completely, and then he came out of seclusion. After coming out of seclusion, Chu Ye immediately entered the Dragon God space. After absorbing the Dragon God core and completing the Dragon God's 5th test, Chu Ye's combat power was equivalent to the strength of a 3rd-level god. He could barely fight against an ordinary 2nd-level god. His mental power reached the God King realm, and his body was equivalent to that of a 3rd-level god. His soul power had reached the peak of level 99, the limit of a human soul master. Chu Ye's strength was undoubtedly strong enough, but such strength was not enough for him to complete what he had to do next. He was not even the opponent of the sea god. He still needed to become stronger and stronger, strong enough to kill the sea god himself. After completing the dragon god's 5th test, Chu Ye once again gave the dragon god an elemental attribute power, the power of light attribute. The increase of light attribute greatly increased Chu Ye's power, because his sword of gods and demons had light attribute, so after the blessing of light attribute power, the power of all his skills was almost improved by a large level. At the same time, he got a god-given soul ring. Without a doubt, continue to absorb the second beast martial soul. At present, my soul power has reached the peak of level 99. I wonder if this god-given soul ring can make my soul power break through the limit and reach the level of 100. Chu Ye took out the god-given soul ring he got when he completed the 5th test. He looked at it silently, with expectations in his heart. Normally, the limit of human soul master's cultivation is only level 99. Without the position of God and gods, it is impossible to break through the level of 100. To reach the level of 100, only the position of God and become a god. A large part of the reason is the limitation of the plane, that is to say, the limit and restriction of the mortal world of Douluo Continent is the peak of level 99. In Chu Ye's memory of his last life, in the Douluo Continent tens of thousands of years later, many human spirit masters could break through the 100th level and cultivate to more than 100th level, or even more than 110 levels. That was because the limit of the face position in the era was improved, so it became much easier for people to break through the 100th level. In that era, the title Douluo was everywhere, and those above the 100th level were awesome. But in this era, the limit of human spirit masters is only level 99. But it is not really impossible to break through the limit of the face position and reach the 100th level. It's just that this step is too difficult, so difficult that no one can do it. Because the human lifespan is limited, it is impossible to reach that step in a limited life, unless this human has infinite life. So, theoretically, without gods and gods, mortals can still break through the 100th level, but because no one has done it and it is considered impossible. And Chu Ye now wants to try to break this precedent, break through the limit of the face position, and break through the ranks of the 100th level without gods. Come on, after absorbing the 5th soul ring, what will my strength be? Chu Ye did not delay any longer and quickly absorbed this god-given soul ring. His soul power began to rise again. He was already at level 99, and his soul power could still be improved, but the question was whether he could break through the 100th level. The 5-colored Dragon King martial soul, after being given the 5th soul ring, also began to evolve again. This time, it was a dragon. Once it entered the dragon level, the strength of this martial soul really came up. As the soul ring condensed, it quickly changed from white to yellow, yellow to purple, purple to black, and black to red. After staying in the red state for a long time, it entered the next color and finally reached orange gold. It was still stuck at the level of infinitely close to the god level soul ring. Chu Ye's soul power did not break through the 100th level, but he felt that he seemed to have touched the edge of that realm faintly. This made him happy, which meant that he might be the first to break through the 100th level before inheriting the position of the dragon god. Absorb. If the 5th soul ring doesn't work, then absorb the 6th and 7th soul rings. He is confident that with the absorption and amplification of the subsequent soul rings, he can break through the limit and step into the 100th level. 5-color Jiao Huan martial soul evolves into a 6-color giant dragon. Martial soul quality. Top grade, with 6 attributes. Ice, fire, earth, wind, light, and darkness. Roar. The dragon roared. At this moment, the martial soul behind Chu Ye has evolved to the level of a dragon. The huge dragon of 6 colors appeared behind Chu Ye, and it had a bit of the posture of a dragon god. Top-grade martial soul. It seems that after evolving from a Jiao to a dragon, the power of this martial soul has become much stronger. Chu Ye felt the power of this martial soul. It seems to have some connection with Chu Ye's external soul bone, the wings of the dragon god. It also gave a powerful single melee attack soul skill. Giant dragon god claw. In an instant, his arm turned into a huge dragon arm to attack. After absorbing this circle of soul rings, Chu Ye's power has reached a higher level. If he could only fight with ordinary second-level gods before, then now he should be able to fight with ordinary second-level gods, 3, 7, or 4, 7. Not bad, according to the current progress. After I complete the 6th test of the dragon god, plus Xue's strength, maybe I can be invincible among the second-level gods. Chu Ye smiled and put his mind back. Then, he looked at the dragon god pillar in front of him. The content of the sixth test of the Dragon God has been displayed above. The content of the sixth test of the Dragon God 9 tests. Go to the Dark Dragon Pillar and defeat the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings. The deadline is 3 years. The remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings? A combat type test. Chu Ye smiled helplessly. Combat type tests are less dangerous, but such test content will be more tiring and take longer to continue. Moreover, the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings must be very powerful. It must not be so easy for Chu Ye to defeat them. But in any case, he has to go and see first. Hush! Bang! Chu Ye soon arrived in front of the Dark Dragon Pillar. 9 battlefields had been divided here. In each of these 9 battlefields, there was a dragon. They were the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings, and they looked like the 9 Dragon Kings. But it seemed that these remnants had no memory and only existed in the form of fighting. There was no limit to the number of challenges. As long as all the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings were defeated within 3 years, the assessment would be completed. Chu Ye hesitated for a moment and decided to step into one of them first to test their strength. Chapter 382. The Azure God feels uneasy. It's you, the regret of the Fire Dragon King. Chu Ye slowly stepped into the battlefield of the Fire Dragon King. When he entered, the Fire Dragon King inside, his eyes changed instantly, without any greeting, immediately rushed towards Chu Ye. It was burning with strong flames. Roar! The Fire Dragon King attacked fiercely. The power of the fire element. Chu Ye also mobilized the power of the fire attribute to fight against it. Bang! So strong. Chu Ye was instantly knocked away by the Fire Dragon King and fell heavily to the ground. He stood up quickly. 6th soul skill, Giant Dragon Claw. Chu Ye's hands instantly expanded several times, turning into a pair of huge dragon arms, and blasted the clawed Fire Dragon King head-on. Chu Ye was knocked away again. Bang! Boom boom boom. The forces of both sides began to fight and collide wildly. 3 seconds later, Chu Ye was completely suppressed and was blown away again. His body hit the ground several times in a row, and then he spread his dragon wings in time and flew high into the sky to avoid the next round of attacks from the Fire Dragon King. The Fire Dragon King chased him relentlessly and madly. Bang, bang, bang. I'm no match for him at all. I must get away as soon as possible. Chu Ye dodged and fought fiercely with him. After several rounds, he found the right opportunity and quickly left the battlefield. When Chu Ye left the battlefield, the Fire Dragon King stopped attacking. It was a close call. If I hadn't left the battlefield, the other party would have stopped attacking. Otherwise, even if I put all my strength into it now, I would not be able to defeat the remnant of the Fire Dragon King. Chu Ye looked solemn, shook his head helplessly and said, the 6th test is really not that simple. The remnant of the Fire Dragon King has at least the power of the peak of the 2nd level god, so the remnants of the other 8 Dragon Kings are probably the same. For the Fire Dragon King, I can still use the power of fire and ice attributes to fight in the direction of attribute restraint, but for the space, time, stability and other Dragon Kings, I have no advantages at all, and no tricks. In 3 years, how can I improve myself to the extent that I can defeat the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings? Chu Ye's scalp was a little numb. Now, with the sharing of power from Qian Renxue, he is at most a middle upper class combat power of the 2nd level god, which is far from the peak of the 2nd level god. Relying on himself, it is almost impossible to strengthen his strength to the extent that he can defeat the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings within 3 years. So it is useless to work hard, just rely on chance. He thought about how to become stronger and had 2 directions. There seem to be only 2 possibilities that can make him stronger quickly. One is to let Qian Renxue speed up the mastery, perception, and control of the power of the angel god and the gods. As mentioned before, the gods who have just inherited the throne and merged with the gods cannot have the strongest power of the gods at the beginning. There is a running-in period. It takes a period of precipitation, adaptation, mastery, and comprehension before you can finally master and perfectly exert the power of your own gods. Now Qian Renxue is at most equivalent to the combat power of a 2nd level god. If she can improve her ability to control her angel god within 3 years, then, when Chu Ye shares power and borrows Qian Renxue's power, he will be stronger. Therefore, as long as Qian Renxue can exert the combat power of the angel god, which is equivalent to the peak of the 2nd level god, then Chu Ye will have the confidence to defeat the 9 Dragon Kings. Another way is to go to the Dragon Tomb again. Explore the treasures in the Dragon Tomb and look for opportunities. Continue to temper the body through the energy of the dragon race, improve the strength of the body, increase the age of the external soul bone dragon god wins, absorb soul bones, and increase the phoenix soul bone to 1 million years. Then, he may be able to defeat the 9 dragon kings. After thinking about the direction of becoming stronger next, Chu Ye immediately left the dragon god space and planned to go to Qian Renxue first. At the same time, God Realm. One of the 5 great gods, the place where the Sure God King is located, in the Sure God realm. Sure God once again had the bad premonition he had before, and this time, it was stronger than before. This made Sure God vaguely feel a little uneasy, even if it was just a little bit, but something that made Sure God feel uneasy was enough to be very serious. And as early as some time ago, he felt that there seemed to be a new star coming into being in the Douluo mortal realm. Sure God also tried to see clearly, but he couldn't see clearly that the future fate of the new star was shrouded in fog. Until today, Sure God often thinks of the dragon god in his mind for some reason. There was also the scene when he killed the dragon god with his own hands. All of this indicated that Sure God seemed to be related to the dragon god. Dragon god, dragon god. He looked towards the direction of the dragon tomb in that distance, hesitated for 2 seconds, and decided to go to the dragon tomb to take a look. A moment later, Sure God arrived at the vicinity of the dragon tomb. He first came to the Phoenix God's Phoenix domain and found the Phoenix God. After Chu Ye left, the Phoenix God had covered his external injuries with the Phoenix flame and returned to the top of the Phoenix God's domain. He continued to stay here as if nothing had happened, watching the dragon tomb in that distance. Suddenly, he sensed the breath of Sure God approaching. King Sure, why is he here? It's not good. The face of the Phoenix God changed drastically. Just as he stood up, Sure God had already come behind him. Phoenix God, we haven't seen each other for a long time. The cold voice of Sure God sounded behind that Phoenix God. At that moment, the Phoenix God was shocked and his expression changed obviously, but he acted very calmly, and his expression instantly returned to calm. He smiled slightly, turned around, and said respectfully, yes. Sure God King, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Why did you suddenly come to my Phoenix God realm? The God realm is very large. If the gods are not familiar with each other, they rarely interact with each other. They all stay in their own God realm and don't meet often. Especially the Phoenix God, who is a beast-bearing god and is not very popular, interacts with the gods even less, and he will not be called for team building. There are also God realm god meetings, and only God kings and level 1 gods are qualified to participate. Level 2 gods like them basically don't attend any meetings. Naturally, there is no chance for the Phoenix God and God King to meet, so the sudden arrival of Sure God immediately made him think of Chu Ye. God Sure did not beat around the bush and ask directly, there has been something that has made me feel uneasy recently. Perhaps it is related to the Dragon God. God of Phoenix, I want to ask you, has anything happened in the Dragon Tomb recently? God of Phoenix smiled faintly, everything is normal, God King Sure. Chapter 383. Sure God. I am the supreme law enforcer in the God realm. I am the highest law enforcer in the God realm. I ask you personally, if there is any violation, and you know it but don't tell me, God of Phoenix, I think you should know what the consequences will be. God Sure said in an extremely calm tone. But the calmer God Sure was, the more afraid God of Phoenix was. God Sure, the most powerful God King in the God realm, is the man who controls the laws and regulations of the God realm. He is also the existence that countless gods fear. Facing God Sure, God of Phoenix naturally felt great pressure, but he had already decided to conceal it for Chu Ye. And since he got on this boat, he would not get off easily. God of Phoenix still remained calm. I understand, God King Sure. God Sure stared at God of Phoenix's face for a few seconds, and finally retracted his gaze and said, God of Phoenix, from now on, you keep an eye on the Dragon Tomb. If there is any disturbance, notify me as soon as possible. Okay, God Sure, this is my duty, I will naturally do my best. Well. God Sure said nothing more, and disappeared in the Phoenix God realm in the next second. He still didn't trust the Phoenix God. After a while, he appeared at the entrance of the Dragon Tomb in person, intending to go in and take a look. At this time, the priest guarding the entrance was shocked to see the Sure God coming and going. Oh my God, it's the Sure God King. He's here. Quick. The 2 priests reacted very quickly, and hurried forward and knelt on one knee. Greetings, Sure God King. Get up, has there been any abnormalities in the Dragon Tomb recently? Sure God asked again. The 2 priests looked at each other and shook their heads at the same time. Well, get out of the way, I'll go in and take a look. Yes. The two priests stood aside obediently, and Shuragot flew in instantly, wanting to go in and find something in person. But the details in the dragon tomb had long been covered up and eliminated by the Phoenix God, and anything that might be detected was destroyed one by one. The Phoenix God was very cautious and careful in doing things, and naturally thought that something like this would happen, so he made a scene. Therefore, Shuragot entered the dragon tomb and gained nothing. But there was one thing that could not be concealed. That is because after Chu Ye absorbed the core of the dragon god, the energy in the dragon tomb became abnormal, causing changes in the Earth's core. The terrain and environment in the dragon tomb are quietly changing invisibly. It is very subtle and cannot be felt at present. It will gradually become obvious as time goes by. The Azure God did not discover the changes in the Earth's core in the dragon tomb. He left the dragon tomb after he found nothing. Back in the Glue Immortal realm, Chu Ye had already found Qian Renxue. He told Qian Renxue the details of his next test, the Dragon God's 6th test. Qian Renxue and Chu Ye have a tacit understanding. There is no need to say much about many things between the two of them, and they understand the thoughts of many parties. Qian Renxue said, Chu Ye, with your current strength, if you want to defeat the 9 Dragon Kings who were equivalent to the peak of the 2nd level gods, only my power is a breakthrough point. Next, I will master the power of my angel god as soon as possible to help you complete the 6th test. No hurry, Chu Ye, you are still pregnant. Let's talk about it after the baby is born. Your current task is to cultivate well and take care of your body. Chu Ye touched Qian Renxue's hair and said, Stupid, I'm a god, not an ordinary person. I'm not that fragile. As long as the battle is not too intense, it will not affect us under any circumstances. Qian Renxue smiled slightly. After Qian Renxue became pregnant, Chu Ye subconsciously treated her as a pregnant woman who needed to be well protected, but forgot that Qian Renxue was also a 1st level god. For gods, pregnancy is really no big deal. It will not affect the normal lifestyle and it is not easy to have problems. Okay, then you don't have to work too hard. Rest when you are tired, okay? Chu Ye looked gentle. Yeah, I got it. Qian Renxue nodded obediently. In fact, even if Chu Ye hadn't been involved, Qian Renxue would have mastered the power of her angel god as soon as possible. She had never stopped getting stronger, but in the past few days, she had spent most of her time dealing with the affairs of the Empire. Chu Ye, next, I plan to go to the Dragon Tomb again. Go to the Dragon Tomb again? Chu Ye, if the Phoenix God goes back on his word, Qian Renxue was a little worried. She had heard about the whole process of Chu Ye's time in the Dragon Tomb. He shouldn't. If he goes back on his word, there's no need for me to go to the Dragon Tomb. The God Realm will naturally send the gods down to the lower world to capture me. Okay, then, Chu Ye, I'll go with you this time. Ha, but Chu Ye, my Dragon God space is only accessible to the Beastmen. Chu Ye said. Chu Ye, you don't know yet, right? Gods can also enter your Dragon God space. Qian Renxue said. What? Qian Renxue said. Since I inherited the throne of the God of Angels, I have sensed that the power of God can enter when you open the Dragon God space. Last time, I felt it and I could enter. Qian Renxue said. So that's how it is. So my Dragon God space can't stop the gods. Chu Ye was a little surprised. He really didn't know it before. Well, even so, Chu Ye, there are still many dangerous factors in going to the Dragon Tomb of the God Realm. You're pregnant now, and I don't want you to take risks with me. Oh, since I became the God of Angels, I've been bored to death. I stay in the Pope's palace every day to deal with the affairs of the Empire. I want to go out and take a walk. Besides, we haven't gone on an adventure together for a long time, right? This time, let me go with you. Qian Renxue said, pouting aggrievedly, acting like a little spoiled child. Facing Qian Renxue's coquetry, Chu Ye really had no way to deal with it. He smiled helplessly. Okay, this time, I'll take you with me. Okay, Hilly. Qian Renxue was very happy. Let's go to the Yang of Ice and Fire first to find that treasure beast. Yeah. Chu Ye took Qian Renxue's little hand, and left Wuhan City together, flying towards the direction of the Sunset Forest. As for the affairs of the Wuhan Empire, they were temporarily handed over to Bai Bai Dong for custody. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue ended out together. They hadn't gone out together for a long time. This long-lost feeling made them feel very good. They accompanied each other and faced difficulties together. Not long after, the two arrived in the yin-yang of ice and fire. At this moment, the treasure hunting beast was using its own abilities, various cultivations, catalysis, and accelerated the development of the fairy grass. Seeing Chu Ye and Qian Renxue come in, the treasure hunting beast put down the things at hand and hurriedly stepped forward to greet Master. Master's wife, you are here. Chapter 384. Bring Qian Renxue back to the dragon tomb. Treasure hunting beast, get ready, we are going to the dragon tomb again. Chu Ye said bluntly, okay, I understand, Master. Wait for me, I'll finish the things on hand. Go. The treasure hunting beast is the one who is most familiar with the dragon tomb, so Chu Ye must take it with him when he goes to the dragon tomb. While waiting, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue also visited the current situation of the fairy grass in the eyes of Douluo Dalu. Not bad. Chu Ye nodded secretly. He found that after the treasure hunting beast managed the fairy grass here, many fairy grasses really developed and became dozens of times faster. The fairy grass seeds that had not yet sprouted have already sprouted and grown. There are also more fairy grass varieties that he has never seen, which shows that the treasure hunting beast found them in other places. Seeing the cultivation of the fairy grass, Chu Ye was very satisfied. At least these fairy grasses can continue to supply the genius soul master boy of the Wooden Hall for a long time. About 10 minutes later, the treasure hunting beast had finished his work. Chu Ye said, then, let's go back to the Xingdou Great Forest and take Yu and N with us. Yes. Chu Ye took Qian Renxue's treasure hunting beast and entered the Xingdou Great Forest again, and found Yu and N. The dragon tomb was also very helpful to Yu and N, and they also needed their help. Now that all the personnel had gathered, Chu Ye did not delay any longer and immediately opened the Dragon God secret realm space, leading Qian Renxue, Yu, and the treasure hunting beast into it. Is this the Dragon God space? Qian Renxue came in for the first time, and everything around her made her curious, looking and observing. Soon, Qian Renxue saw the 9 huge dragon kings of the Dark Dragon Pillar. Chu Ye, that's your opponent, the 6th Dragon God. Yes. Chu Ye nodded, and then said, the space portal for us to enter the God realm is at the Bright Dragon Pillar. Everyone follow me. Chu Ye led everyone there, and after a moment, they arrived in front of the Bright Dragon Pillar. The space portal had never disappeared since it appeared. Enter from here, we will be teleported directly to the vicinity of the dragon tomb. After that, everyone, follow my steps closely, don't move around randomly, and follow my arrangements. Chu Ye instructed. Okay. Everyone nodded. Let's go. Chu Ye stepped into it again, and everyone followed, collectively entering the cableway that shuttled through space. After a while, the sky around the dragon tomb of the God realm once again opened up a twisted space, and Chu Ye, Qian Ren and others fell from the air one after another. Bang! 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 After Chu Ye landed, he looked around and found that the location was different from the previous teleportation location, but not far away. They were all around the dragon tomb. It seems that every time we enter the God realm, the location will change to a certain extent. Chu Ye, the energy at the God realm is very strong. Here I feel that I can master the power of the angel god faster. Normal, after all, the God realm is a more advanced world than our Douluo Continent. The energy here will naturally be far superior to the mortal world. Let's go. We can reach the edge of the dragon tomb by passing through the forest in front of us. Chu Ye, who had been to the dragon tomb once, was already familiar with the route. He led everyone to the huge mountains in front of the dragon tomb. It was still the old road and the old method. Through the power of the earth element as a cover, they crossed the mountains and entered. After a while, they had entered it and came to the outer area of the edge of the dragon tomb. After they went deep for a distance, they saw the remains and residual souls of the dragon clan. Chu Ye had promised Yu, and those countless dragon souls before that he would bury them and let the thousands of dragons rest in peace. Therefore, Chu Ye came here this time not only to find an opportunity to become stronger, but also mainly for this purpose, because he knew that burying dragons was actually one of the greatest opportunities. Helping the dragons rest in peace while becoming stronger, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Therefore, this time they came in, they planned to bury the dragons first, and then look for the dragon pillar, the dragon slashing sword, and other artifacts of the dragons in the past. Let's get started, and bury all these dead dragons properly. Chu Ye said with a serious face. Well, everyone together. Chu Ye then released the 5 souls of the Demon Whale King, the Snow Emperor, the Ice Emperor, Erming, and Shower. In addition, Qian, Qian Renxue, and Chu Ye, a total of 9, burying dragons together will be much faster. Although it is impossible to bury them all at once, but as many as possible can be buried. Because Chu Ye has little time, 1 day in the God realm is 1 year in the mortal realm, and he only has 3 years for the Dragon God test, and can stay in the God realm for a maximum of 2.5 days. There is only half a year left, and he will return to the mortal realm to complete the 6th test. Everyone started to move, burying all the dragon bones they encountered on the road. When Chu Ye personally buried the dead dragons in the soil, the dragon souls finally rested in peace. He felt the gratitude and thanks of the dragon souls. In return, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue and others buried the dragons. The dragon souls gave back the remaining dragon power, dragon soul, and the last energy and dragon energy in their bodies to Chu Ye and others. Under the dragon power returned by the dragons, Chu Ye's dragon wings were significantly strengthened, as was the dragon blood in his body. His body was also being fed back and tempered by the dragon power, and was rapidly strengthened. Every time he buried a dragon, Chu Ye felt that his strength was obviously getting stronger. The same was true for Qian. They also received huge benefits and rewards after burying the dragons. Their strength began to increase, and their injuries that had not recovered that year were also recovering rapidly. As for the 5 great souls, they also helped Qian Renxue, but the effect was not very obvious. Most of the dragons buried by the 5 great souls would also be used by Chu Ye. In this process, Chu Ye's Dragon God wings, Dragon God bloodliner, and body were all improving rapidly. They hardly stopped and buried thousands of dragons day and night. In just 1 day, they buried more than 200 dragons, and had completed a quarter of the progress. The feedback from the dragons made everyone's strength surge a lot. Chu Ye's Dragon God wings have reached more than 950,000 years, and the dragon bloodliner and body are stronger. After completing the burial of all dragon bones, he may be able to reach a physical strength close to that of the Dragon God under the dragon power tempering. If the time comes, Chu Ye will be a real better indestructible body, and even a first-level god will find it difficult to kill him. But 2.5 days in the god realm is not enough for Chu Ye and his team to bury all the dragons. Now, they can bury as many as they can. At this moment, a year has passed in the Douluo mortal realm. People all over the mainland are stunned. Chapter 385. Hiding the dragon for 2.5 years, Chu Ye's power increases again. What confused them was, how come Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's child hasn't been born yet? Because Qian Renxue found out she was pregnant at the Imperial Morning Assembly, so the news of Qian Renxue's pregnancy had spread a long time ago. According to the time point, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's child should have been born a long time ago, but there was no news or movement at all. The whole country, except for Qian Dalu and Bai Dong who knew about it, everyone was confused. After all, once the son of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue was born, it would be a big event that shocked the whole continent. What's going on? Where did your majesty go? Is the child not born yet? A large number of people have been asking around, and even started asking Qian Dalu and Bai Dong. But they naturally wouldn't tell Chu Ye and Qian Renxue about going to the god realm. Qian Dalu was also helpless. He could have helped his great-grandson this year, but Qian Renxue and Chu Ye went to the god realm. In the god realm, 1 day in that place is equivalent to 1 year in the mortal world. The fetus in the belly, for them in the mortal world, has passed a year, but in the god realm, it has only passed 1 day. However, after all, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue have not appeared yet, and everyone speculates that the child may have been born, but it has not been made public yet. Soon, Chu Ye and others have been in the god realm for 2 days. In these 2 days, they have buried more than 500 dragons. The large amount of dragon power given back has allowed Chu Ye's Dragon God wings to last for 980,000 years. The Dragon God bloodliner has also evolved to 50%. The flesh has also reached 40% of the Dragon God body. Now his physical strength exceeds that of most second-level gods, equivalent to the physical strength of the top second-level gods. Now he has truly stepped into the combat power of the second-level god. In the case of full state, I'm afraid it is enough to fight with the middle-level second-level gods. If the power shared by Qian Renxue is added, Chu Ye's strength can reach the peak of the second-level god. The combat power is probably infinitely close to the peak of the second-level god, the Phoenix god. Because, at this moment, Qian Renxue's control over the power of the angel god has reached the peak of the second-level god. In the last half a day, everyone, let's bury as many as we can, and the rest can only wait until next time. Chu Ye said. We understand, your Dragon God test is the main thing. Qian nodded. although they wanted to bury all the dragons who died here at once. But they also knew Chu Ye's situation, and there was not much time left for the test. Chu Ye, are you tired? Chu Ye wiped the sweat from Qian Renxue's face. Not tired. Qian Renxue smiled slightly. Then let's continue. Okay. Everyone continued to bury the dragon. They buried the dragon from the outer area of the dragon tomb all the way along the inner circle. Now the outer dragons have been buried long ago, and they are moving along the inner area along the core area of the dragon tomb. Chu Ye also found that the deeper into the dragon tomb, the more difficult it is to get close, and until now, they have never seen a corpse of the 9 dragon kings. Soon, half a day has finally passed. They have been in the god realm for nearly 2.5 days, and in the mortal realm for 2.5 years. They have buried more than 600 dragons, more than half of the dragons. Under the baptism and amplification of the dragon energy, dragon spirit, and dragon power, Chu Ye's external soul bone dragon god wing has reached 990,000 years. Although it is still a long way from the peak, it doesn't matter, because he knows that if the dragon god wing wants to awaken and evolve to more than 1,000,000 years, it must be blessed by the power of the Silver Dragon King and the Golden Dragon King at the same time. With Chu Ye's current strength, he has great confidence to defeat the remnants of the 9 dragon kings and complete the 6th test of the dragon god. As for Qian Renxue, she also absorbed some dragon power invisibly, and her body also carried a part of the dragon power. And this dragon power in Qian Renxue's body will bring her great opportunities in the future. As for Qian, the changes are also very big. Qian's current human form has a soul power of level 97, and has reached the peak of level 96. The seal of the Silver Dragon King in their bodies has been unlocked several times. Not only that, the injury of the Silver Dragon King back then, now it will probably take at most 1,000 years to fully recover. With the 7th level of power of the Silver Dragon King, Qian's combat power can reach the 2nd level of God. With the 3rd level of power of the Silver Dragon King, can reach the 3rd level of God. Everyone's strength is stronger. As for their team, unless the 1st level God takes action, the gods below can't do anything to them. The elders of the Dragon Clan, the junior Chu Ye, must have little time left. This time, it is impossible to bury all the bones of the elders of the Dragon Clan, but when Chu Ye comes again next time, everyone's bones will be properly buried in the ground. Chu Ye apologized slightly and bowed deeply. Young man, thank you, you were thoughtful enough, go. The voice of the Mountain Dragon King sounded from the land here again. Mountain Dragon King Chu Ye heard the voice of the Mountain Dragon King and nodded silently. I will come back again. Let's go. After Chu Ye showed sincere respect for this dragon tomb, he led Qian Renxue, the treasure-hunting beast, Qian, and to leave. On the way back, the treasure-hunting beast felt more and more that something was wrong. Master, the dragon tomb seems to have become different. Different? How do you say? Chu Ye asked. The treasure-hunting beast frowned. I can't tell what's different, and I don't know if it's my illusion. The terrain of the dragon tomb seems to be changing. The terrain is changing. Chu Ye's eyes changed. Well, I don't know if it's like this, but I always feel that the crust of the dragon tomb is changing. The dragon tomb seems to have started to move. The treasure-hunting beast looked serious. Chu Ye heard this, his heart was shocked, and his face instantly became solemn. Treasure-hunting beast, are you sure? When we get to the edge of the dragon tomb, I may be able to see it. Then let's go and take a look first. Okay. Everyone left the dragon tomb quickly. The treasure-hunting beast flew ahead, observing the environment along the way. It had lived in the dragon tomb for too long, and no one knew the dragon tomb better than it. The situation and exploration along the way allowed the treasure-hunting beast to gradually confirm its inner guess. Soon, they crossed the mountains and rivers, stepped out of the dragon tomb, and headed towards the space portal. But at this time, the treasure-hunting beast finally stopped and said in surprise, "It has changed. It has really changed. Master, the dragon tomb is really moving. 5 meters. The distance here has increased by 5 meters. 5 meters. Chu Ye frowned, and looked at the location pointed by the treasure-hunting beast together with Qian Renxue, Qian, and Chapter 386. Dragon Tomb Earth's crust changes. Chu Ye begins to challenge the 9 Dragon Kings. Here is a piece of split land, separated by air, not connected together. The God Realm is not a complete continent, but many large and small pieces of land, connected together. In the Dragon Tomb, only most of the land is connected to other areas of the God Realm, and some of the land is in a state of separation. The location that the treasure hunting beast is pointing to is the location where the dragon tomb is separated from other land areas in the god realm, and the treasure hunting beast now feels that the distance of this separation has become farther. This means that the crust of the dragon tomb is changing, or even moving. This side belongs to the dragon tomb, and this side belongs to the land in other areas of the god realm, and the distance between the two sides is increased by 5 meters. What is going on here? The treasure hunting beast explained, even more puzzled. Sure enough, the dragon tomb has begun to separate from the god realm. Chu Ye had already guessed what was going on, and sighed in his words. What? Separated from the god realm? Qian Renxue, Yu, and the treasure hunting beast were all shocked, and their eyes collectively looked at Chu Ye. Chu Ye's face became more and more solemn. In his past memories, the dragon tomb would indeed change, and then leave the scope of the god realm, and eventually float far away, attached to a galaxy with a similarly high level of life energy. That place should be called Jianlong Star. Chu Ye's memories were one-sided and he didn't know much about them, but he did know that the dragon tomb would leave the god realm, but he didn't know why that dragon tomb would leave the god realm. Now he understood that it must be because he absorbed the dragon god core. It didn't leave earlier, it didn't leave at all, but it happened at this time, so this was the only explanation. That's right, the dragon god core should be the key to the dragon tomb, because I absorbed the dragon god core, which caused the dragon tomb's crust to change and began to leave the god realm. Chu Ye said solemnly, because he understood what the changes in the dragon tomb meant. Yu and Qian Renxue, who were smart, also thought of the seriousness of the matter in an instant. It's over. If the dragon tomb is leaving the god realm, then the situation of the dragon tomb will inevitably be known to the gods in the god realm soon. At the time, Chu Ye, your affairs may not be concealed. At this moment, everyone's faces and emotions have become heavy. Alas! Chu Ye sighed in his heart, and then said, let's take it one step at a time. I just hope that the god realm can find out later. As long as I become the dragon god in advance before they find me, I will not be afraid. Because Chu Ye is the heir of the dragon god and has a delicate relationship with the god realm, there must be a large number of gods in the god realm who don't like to see the dragon god reappear. Therefore, once his identity is exposed, I'm afraid that many gods will want to stop him from becoming the dragon god, or even get rid of him. And if what he is doing now must be counted as a crime, it is that a mortal trespassed into the god realm and trespassed into the forbidden dragon tomb of the god realm. These two conditions are all. These two crimes may not lead to death, but may only result in severe punishment or imprisonment. However, Chu Ye's status as the heir of the dragon god may result in his death. Even if the god realm did not kill Chu Ye for these crimes, the imprisonment of Chu Ye would prevent him from completing the dragon god test. Chu Ye, what should we do next? Qian Renxue asked. The crustal movement of the dragon tomb is not something we can stop. Let's go back to the Douluo mortal realm first. Right now, the only way for me is to become the dragon god as soon as possible. Things could not be changed, and Chu Ye did not think about it. Accelerating the process of becoming the dragon god is the only way out. Let's go. Whoosh! Everyone set off again and left quickly. After a while, they arrived at the location of the space portal, entered it, and returned to the dragon god space. At this moment, for the mortal realm, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue had disappeared for 2.5 years. Sometimes Chu Ye would stay in seclusion for a year or two, and everyone was used to it. However, as the Empress of the Wuhan Empire, Qian Renxue's disappearance for such a long time would inevitably attract great attention from the entire continent. As for the child in Qian Renxue's belly, everyone also paid great attention to it. Everyone thought that after such a long time, Qian Renxue must have given birth. But they just didn't understand why there was no news at all, why they deliberately hid the news of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's child. Then, everyone never expected that the child in Qian Renxue's belly had not been born yet. For Qian Renxue, he was only 4 months pregnant. When Chu Ye and Qian Renxue came back, they shocked the entire Pope's palace. Fuck. Oh my god. Your Majesty has been pregnant for almost 3 years, but she hasn't given birth yet. What's going on? Everyone was confused and puzzled. Qian Renxue couldn't declare it yet. She went to the god realm. The explanation given was that gods were different from mortals and it would take longer. Everyone believed it. After all, it was a god. It was normal to be a little different. It could not be viewed with common sense. On the other side, Chu Ye had entered the dragon god space again and came to the dark dragon pillar. After returning from the god realm this time, Chu Ye's combat power increased dramatically. Now he was going to challenge the remnants of the 9 Dragon Kings. He had not completed it in the last 6 months. He chose the remnant of the Fire Dragon King again and stepped into the battlefield step by step. Come on. Fire Dragon King. Aga. Bang. Boom. Chu Ye went all out and started sharing power directly. The angel power began to rise from his body. Roar. The remnant of the Fire Dragon King also launched an attack immediately, spewing a ball of flames from his mouth. Chu Ye's eyes were sharp. He held the sword of gods and demons in his hand, flapped the wings of the dragon god, soared into the sky, and slashed at the giant dragon of fire with one sword. Ha! Bang! Boom! One man and one dragon, on this battlefield, fought fiercely together. Before, Chu Ye was not a match for the Fire Dragon King's remnant, who was at the peak of the 2nd level god. Now, he could fight back and forth with the Fire Dragon King's remnant, and even had the upper hand. This battle lasted for a whole day and night. The 9th soul skill, God and Demon Destruction. Sorry, Fire Dragon King. With this sword, I will cut off your head. Ah! Chu Ye screamed, and the terrifying power condensed on the sword of God and Demon. Chu Ye's final sword cut off the Fire Dragon King's head. Puff. Bang. Boom. Roar. The dragon head was cut off by a sword, and the dragon head and the dragon body were shot down from midair to the ground, and then turned into energy and dissipated. Chu Ye's body also fell to the ground, and the sword was inserted into the ground first. He supported the handle of the god and demon sword with both hands, and his physical strength and soul power were almost close to the half limit. There are still 8 opponents. Chu Ye panted slightly. He quickly sat down to recover his own state. Then he entered the next battlefield again and fought and killed the Ice Dragon King's remnant. Chapter 387 The regret of challenging the 9 Dragon Kings. The battle with the Ice Dragon King was still a difficult one, and it lasted for a long time. Chu Ye almost put all his strength into defeating the Ice Dragon King. Bang. Boom. Chu Ye finally killed the remnant of the Ice Dragon King with another sword. Then he continued to recover and fight. It took almost a week to defeat each one, 1 or 2 days of fighting, and a few days of recovery and adjustment. Unknowingly, Chu Ye had been in this cycle for a month. Now Chu Ye has defeated the remnants of the 5 Dragon Kings, the Fire Dragon King, the Ice Dragon King, the Earth Dragon King, the Wind Dragon King, and the Live Dragon King. There are 4 left. The real difficult battle has just begun. Chu Ye looked at the huge Dark Dragon King on the battlefield with a serious face. Chu Ye's Dragon God 9 tests, from the 1st test to the 5th test now, every time he completed a test, he would gain the power of an elemental attribute and the immune physique of this element. Therefore, Chu Ye has the ultimate physique of the attributes of fire, ice, wind, earth and light species, and the ultimate immune antibodies. Therefore, it was much easier for him to defeat the 5 Dragon Kings. But from the next battle with the Dark Dragon King, he did not have much advantage, so the next battle would be very difficult, and the later battles would be the real problem. Without the advantage of absolute physical immunity, facing the Dragon King's remnant at the peak of the 2nd level god level. But facing the Dark Dragon King, Chu Ye's attributes still have a little advantage. Light can restrain darkness. Under the condition of the same attribute strength, light will suppress darkness a little. Therefore, to deal with the Dark Dragon King's remnant, Chu Ye must use the strongest light attribute power. Light letter I. It's the sun. As soon as Chu Ye came on the stage, he directly switched to the light letter form, and the sword of gods and demons in his hand also became the sword of light. Aga. Chu Ye fought with all his strength again, and fought fiercely with the Dark Dragon King. This battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights, and Chu Ye almost devoted all his strength. Light wind continuous slash. Ushu. Bang. Boom. 3 strong blades of light were released. Chu Ye finally defeated the Dark Dragon King with one blow, relying on the most powerful move of the light form. Bang. Hoo. Hoo. Chu Ye also lay on the ground, panting violently. This battle almost poured out all his strength. Except for the Dragon God's power of the Dragon God's winds, which had not been used, all his trump cards had been used. I can still use the light attribute to deal with the Dark Dragon King's regret, but what should I use to defeat the next space, time, and stability Dragon Kings? Chu Ye felt the pressure. Next, it became more and more difficult. Space, time, and stability, these 3 attributes, 1, have no attribute immunity, and 2, no attribute suppression. Chu Ye now has no advantage. And once the Dragon God's power is turned on, the side effect of using it is 3 months, but it is less than 5 months away from the assessment time, so Chu Ye can only use the Dragon God's power to deal with one, and Chu Ye has not used the Dragon God's power yet. He continued to recover. A few days later, Chu Ye started to challenge the next one again, the regret of the Space Dragon King. The Space Dragon King has the attribute of space, and his control over space is as pure as fire. He can transfer space. This ability to transfer space and move is very scary and difficult to find its trajectory. Not only can the Space Dragon King himself change space and shift position, but even the soul attack launched by Chu Ye can be transferred by the Space Dragon King. Chu Ye just entered the battle and was almost beaten by the Space Dragon King without any ability to fight back. He can fight back and forth with other Dragon Kings, but it seems that he is no match for the Space Dragon King. This is not because the Space Dragon King's regret is too strong, but because of the different power and ability he controls. Space ability is a very special ability. It is often the most difficult to deal with this special ability, especially when facing it for the first time, when you don't know the opponent at all, don't know the opponent's fighting style, fighting habits, and how to use space to fight. Mastering the existence of special abilities will become very difficult to deal with, because you can't use ordinary combat experience to fight. But often, for such soul beasts or soul masters who control special abilities, as long as they are familiar with him, and understand the opponent's fighting methods and rules, then such opponents will be defeated more easily. Bang! Chu Ye was knocked out of the battlefield by the Space Dragon King in one fell swoop. His first challenge to the Space Dragon King's regret had ended in failure. He did not rashly challenge again, but sat down cross-legged, began to recover while reviewing the previous battle, and then tried to understand his opponent. In the review, Chu Ye kept trying to understand the Space Dragon King's fighting method, and wait for the next time, how should he fight, so as to continuously accumulate fighting experience with the Space Dragon King. When this review was almost done, Chu Ye started the challenge again. But after a battle and review, Chu Ye was obviously able to deal with it a little bit. Bang! Chu Ye was knocked out again. Continue to review. Continue to fight. In this failure again and again, in the battles again and again, Chu Ye finally gradually figured out the fighting method of the Space Dragon King's regret. He was completely no opponent at the beginning, but now he is evenly matched. After 7 consecutive defeats, Chu Ye finally gained the upper hand. Endless Divine Skill, Endless Slash. Chu Ye held the Endless Blade in his hand and attacked with a terrifying critical strike. The Space Dragon King disappeared in the teleportation space on the spot, avoiding Chu Ye's attack, but Chu Ye released the 9th soul skill again at this time. Gods and demons destroy the world. Before the Space Dragon King came out of the space transfer, Chu Ye's attack had already locked on a direction. And this direction turned out to be the position where the Space Dragon King appeared from the space. Sure enough, it's here. This time, you can't avoid it. Chu. Bang. Boom boom boom. Roar. The Space Dragon King's remnant screamed and was killed by Chu Ye's sword. Through his understanding of the Space Dragon King, he predicted the position where the Space Dragon King would appear in advance, and finally defeated the Space Dragon King's remnant. There are 2 left. Chu Ye looked at the Time Dragon King and the Stability Dragon King in the last 2 battlefields. There are less than 4 months left. It took Chu Ye a little over a month to defeat the first 6 Dragon Kings, and it took another month to defeat the Space Dragon King. The next 2 will probably be just as difficult. Chu Ye gathered his thoughts and stepped into the battlefield of the Time Dragon King. The Time Dragon King, like the Space Dragon King, also has a special ability to control the power of time attributes and control time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 388 The Final Opponent, Steady, the Mountain Dragon King. During the battle, what Chu Ye felt was the most difficult was that the Time Dragon King could make time extremely slow, or suddenly make time very fast. When Chu Ye attacked, it slowed down the time around him, so that he could easily avoid the attack. When it attacked, it could make time faster, which was equivalent to its speed. It attacked faster, making it difficult for Chu Ye to defend. Of course, the Time Dragon King's use of time was not limited to this. There were many other time abilities that made Chu Ye feel very difficult in the battle. And he was very good at using time to control it. Just like when he fought with the Space Dragon King just now, Chu Ye fell into an absolute disadvantage. They are just remnants without any emotions. If they were the real 9 Dragon Kings, what a terrifying existence they would be. Bang! Chu Ye was defeated and stared at the remnant of the Time Dragon King inside. The one fighting with him was just the remnant of the Dragon King, who only had the power of the peak of the 2nd level god. But Chu Ye knew very well that the real 9 Dragon Kings were all the peak of the 1st level gods, and it could even be said that they were strong men at the level of the half-step God King. If they were real, how powerful would they be in using their own abilities and attributes? The God King is a realm and power that Chu Ye cannot reach now. With his current power, which is at most the 2nd level god, he cannot see through the power of a strong man like the God King. But he longs to achieve this kind of power. I will definitely complete the 6th test of the Dragon God. Power, I want to have stronger power. Chu Ye gritted his teeth, sat down again, recovered, and began to review the battle with the Time Dragon King. Continuously maintaining such high-intensity battles, constantly getting injured, and constantly recovering, has made him mentally and physically exhausted. This is also a great test of perseverance and persistence. But he must persist. He must become stronger. He also has to kill the Sea God himself. He also has to lead the Soul Beast clan back to the God realm. He also has to become a god, and ascend to the God realm with Qian Renxue to become a pair of immortal lovers. Come again. Hard ah. Bang 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 bang. Come again. Come again. Chu Ye once again began a round of continuous review in battle, looking for various ways to fight the Time Dragon King. Tried again and again, failed again and again. It took nearly 2 months for Chu Ye to finally defeat the Time Dragon King. Now, there are only 2 months left for the Dragon God's 6th test, and Chu Ye's opponent is only the last one, the Stable Dragon King, the leader of the 9 Dragon Kings, the Mountain Dragon King. The Stable attribute controls the power of the mountain and river continent. The Mountain Dragon King may not be the strongest, but he is definitely the most difficult to deal with. He is as stable as the mountain and river continent, difficult to break, difficult to kill, and difficult to hurt. In short, he is very strong and can't be beaten. The Mountain Dragon King has unparalleled physical strength and defense. At the same time, the Stable attribute is also an endless attribute with extremely strong self-healing ability. What Chu Ye faces now is not his strength, whether he can beat the Mountain Dragon King, but his strength, whether he can defeat the Mountain Dragon King. Chu Ye did not rashly open the Dragon God's power, which only had 1 chance, but first tried the strength of the Mountain Dragon King to see if he could beat him. God and Demon Sword Technique, the first style, Sunday and Moon Demon God. Hush. Bang. God and Demon Sword Technique, second style, God and Demon Killing God / Endless / Breaking Army / 6th soul skill, Giant Dragon Claw. 9th soul skill, God and Demon Destroying the World. Bang. Boom boom boom. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Chu Ye held a sword in his hand, panting violently, with a helpless look on his face. I can't hit it at all. Chu Ye's combat power can suppress the Mountain Dragon King, can be in an advantageous position, and can cause multiple attacks on the Mountain Dragon King. But the Mountain Dragon King's defense, stable attributes, and endless self-healing ability. Even if Chu Ye released all his strongest moves one by one, he still couldn't defeat the Mountain Dragon King's remnant. He can beat it, but he can't defeat it. And to reach the level of power to defeat the Dragon King, Chu Ye feels that he is still far away. In other words, even if Chu Ye activates the power of the Dragon God, he may not have enough power to defeat the Mountain Dragon King. We have to think of other ways. Chu Ye began to try to find the weaknesses and flaws of the Mountain Dragon King, looking for the most vulnerable position to attack. But no matter how many times Chu Ye tried, every step of the Mountain Dragon King seemed to be so impeccable and without weaknesses. Time passed very quickly in the attempts again and again. A week, a month, and nearly 2 months. The last 3 days, the last 2 days. The 6th test of the Dragon God has come, the last day. Chu Ye still has not found the method and strength to defeat the Mountain Dragon King. Damn, there is only 1 day left, there is no other way, go all out once, this is my last chance. Chu Ye has not given up yet. He was full of fighting spirit and stepped into the battlefield of the Mountain Dragon King for the last time, holding a sword in his hand, staring at the huge Mountain Dragon King in front of him. Skills of the wings of the Dragon God. Power of the Dragon God. Power sharing. Roar. At this moment, Chu Ye directly released his strongest trump card. His aura has climbed to the peak of the second-level god, and even has the strength to barely fight against the first-level god. This time, I must not lose. 6th soul skill, Giant Dragon Claw. Chu Ye mobilized one of his most powerful soul skills from the beginning. He knew that it would be useless to fight too much with the remnant of the Mountain Dragon King. That would only consume his body and soul power in vain. The only way was to use the strongest power to see if he could defeat the Mountain Dragon King. But the remnant of the Mountain Dragon King would not stand there obediently for you to hit, so Chu Ye had to ensure that every powerful attack of his hit the Mountain Dragon King perfectly. God and Demon Sword Technique, First Style, Sunday and Moon Demon God. Puff. Bang. Boom. With the blessing of the Dragon God's power, Chu Ye's soul skill power was obviously improved by a level, which was enough to cause great damage to the Mountain Dragon King, but it was far from enough to defeat the opponent. God and Demon Sword Technique, Second Style. Senlo Formation, Sun and Moon Wheel, God and Demon God Killing Slash. Bang. Boom. Boom. Almost, still almost. Chu Ye's heart was getting more and more anxious, more and more urgent, because he only had this one chance. Infinity Blade Divine Skill. Infinity Slash. Hush. Bang. Roar. The broken body of the Mountain Dragon King began to recover quickly. At that moment, he immediately counterattacked and blasted Chu Ye to the ground with a Dragon Claw. Bang. Boom boom aga. The fire of the Phoenix rose on his body, and Chu Ye's passive effect was directly knocked off. The fire of the Phoenix quickly surrounded Chu Ye's body, restoring his physical strength, soul power, and his own state. Chapter 389. Relying alone in the White Knight, destroying demons for a living, reaching the state of unity between man and sword, and killing instantly with one look. Chu Ye's body burned with the flames of the Phoenix. He stood up again, and his condition instantly recovered by more than 50%. This sword decides the outcome. Success or failure depends on this one move. Chu Ye took a deep breath. He did not hesitate to consume a lot of soul power and poured all his strength into this sword, making the power reach the limit and peak that could be achieved. The dark gold and soul ring under his feet rose up. 9th soul skill, God and Demon Destroy the World. At this moment, Chu Ye's power has reached its peak. Success or failure depends on this one move. The terrifying power accompanied by a sword slashed at the Mountain Dragon King fiercely. Bang. Boom boom boom. Roar. Chu Ye directly chopped the huge Mountain Dragon King to the ground. With a loud bang, a big pit was smashed out of the entire ground. The energy enveloped it, blocking Chu Ye's sight, and the battlefield became extremely quiet. It seemed that only the sound of Chu Ye's heavy breathing was left. Is it over? Chu Ye stood there tiredly, staring at the energy layer that he couldn't see clearly with a nervous look on his face. A drop of sweat slowly flowed down his cheek. His heart was tense, uneasy, and unable to calm down. He was waiting for the end, waiting for the victory or defeat. But at this moment, a strong yellow light suddenly flashed in the extremely quiet energy layer. It was the eyes of the Mountain Dragon King. The Mountain Dragon King opened his eyes. Damn it, with my current strength, I can't defeat it after all. Chu Ye's mood also sank to the bottom in an instant. The next second, the dragon roared, and the energy layer was instantly blown up by the power of the Mountain Dragon King. The huge Mountain Dragon King woke up again. The wound left by Chu Ye's 9th soul skill began to recover rapidly. It flapped its wings and slowly flew up. It's the limit. Chu Ye raised his head and looked at the seemingly unbeatable dragon in the sky. For the first time, he felt so powerless. He was also shrouded in a strong sense of failure. The most powerful attack Chu Ye could make now was to use all his strength to destroy the world. But even this mood could not defeat the Mountain Dragon King. He could not produce any stronger power. Chu Ye glanced at the dark dragon pillar next to him. There was only more than an hour left for the 6th test. Such a short time was not enough for him to try again, so this was Chu Ye's last chance. His self-confidence seemed to be hit at this moment, and he gradually lost confidence in himself, because the current situation was hopeless. Roar. The Mountain Dragon King roared and launched another attack. Seeing the Mountain Dragon King getting closer and closer, Chu Ye remained indifferent and stood where he was. At this moment, he hit the emotion of giving up, the emotion of failure, and the feeling of powerlessness, which made him unable to raise the belief of victory. But thinking that he still had a lot of things to accomplish, and the work with Qian Renxue, Chu Ye immediately threw all the thoughts behind him. No. It's not over yet. Whether I succeed or fail, as long as I still have the strength to fight, as long as I haven't fallen yet, I can't give up. I must fight to the last moment. Mountain Dragon King, fall down. Chu Ye's body was once again ignited with boundless fighting spirit, and the terrifying god and demon sword intent rose up and frantically stirred around him. The power of the god and demon sword intent was still rising infinitely, as if it had risen to another level again. Chu Ye's perception of the sword way invisibly, at this moment, has reached another level. At this moment, he has truly reached the realm of unity between man and sword. The highest realm of the sword way. Chu Ye had already taken half a step to the realm of unity between man and sword, and at this moment, he has already stepped into it with both feet. He suddenly felt that he and the sword in his hand had merged into one, his body as the sword, and the sword as his body. Man and sword as one. Man and sword as one. Chu Ye's breath and emotions instantly became extremely calm, and he closed his eyes. At this moment, the energy of the god and demon sword intent around him became even more violent. With just the sword intent, Chu Ye repelled the attacking Mountain Dragon King. I have realized the realm of unity between man and sword. Chu Ye opened his eyes instantly, one of his eyes flashed with a strong golden light, and the other flashed with a dark light. The figures of Guangxin and Dangxin seemed to appear behind Chu Ye again, and a passage of words from their mouths kept echoing in Chu Ye's mind. Guangxin. Transform into a god for protection, and bathing the desolate land. Dangxin. Rely on the white knight alone, and break the devil for a living. At this moment, he felt a new swordsmanship from the words of Guangxin and Dangxin, and comprehended a deeper level of the swordsmanship of gods and demons. Chu Ye also chanted the words that echoed in his mind. Transform into a god for protection, and bathing the desolate land, and rely on the white knight alone, and break the devil for a living. When he finished reciting these two sentences, Chu Ye's body had already risen with a terrifying power far beyond his previous strength. God and Demon Sword Technique, third move, slay gods and demons. Chu Ye disappeared from the spot in an instant, as if on the verge of despair, with the momentum of a desperate counterattack, accompanied by the terrifying power of gods and demons. He slashed at the flying Mountain Dragon King with a sword. Die. Puff. Roar. The roar of the Mountain Dragon King rang out. The Mountain Dragon King, who Chu Ye had never been able to defeat, was instantly chopped into two at this moment. Killed by Chu Ye's sword. Bang. Bang. The cut dragon body was divided into two halves and fell to the ground, then turned into countless energies and disappeared. Chu Ye successfully killed the remnant of the Mountain Dragon King. His body also fell to the ground, standing upright, and the power in his body slowly dissipated. 1. When the sound of him completing the sixth test of the Dragon God rang in the space, Chu Ye breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, and his state had already reached the limit. He was just holding on for a breath. As the test ended, he fell to the ground powerlessly. Slaying gods and demons, my god and demon sword intent has reached a new level. Chu Ye smiled bigly. This time, he almost failed. The power of slaying gods and demons just now was also stronger than he imagined. He could feel that he was about to reach the top of god and demon sword intent. And the power of breaking demons is probably enough to kill a first-level god. Complete the sixth test of Dragon God, reward, Dark Element Attribute Power, a God-given soul ring, and the remaining rewards are superimposed. Then, a dark divine light fell and enveloped Chu Ye. He began to absorb the power of the dark divine light, and finally mastered the power of the dark element attribute, as well as the ultimate physique and antibodies of the dark attribute, and a God-given soul ring. With the increase of the dark attribute, Chu Ye's strength increased again. Next is the seventh test of Dragon God. There are not many tests left. Chu Ye smiled faintly. He was getting closer and closer to becoming a god. Then Chu Ye looked at the content of the seventh test. Chapter 390 The seventh test of the Dragon God, Qian Renxue's water broke. 9 tests of the Dragon God. The seventh test content: go to the Dragon Tomb, find the Dragon Clan artifacts, the Dragon Rising Pillar and the Dragon Slashing Sword. Use the Dragon Rising Pillar and the Dragon Slashing Sword as one of the raw materials. Inject the power of the Dragon God, and refine a super artifact belonging to the Dragon God. Then you can complete the test. The deadline is 5 years. The seventh test is indeed about the test of artifacts, but the difference is that I have to refine it myself. Chu Ye guessed half of it. He guessed that the seventh test was most likely about artifacts, but he didn't expect to refine it by himself. And as he thought, the Dragon Tomb is a place that he is deeply involved in, and he will definitely go there often. At the same time, starting from the seventh test, the test time has changed from 3 years to 5 years. That's good. More time is also a good thing for me. Chu Ye slowly sat up and first contacted Qian Renxue through mental communication. Chu Ye, I have completed the 6th test of the Dragon God. How are you now? I don't know. There is no movement at the moment, but I can feel that it is definitely not these few days. Qian Renxue touched her belly and said. As Chu Ye completed the 6th test, Qian Renxue had been pregnant for more than 9 months. In about a week, she would be full term. The child was about to be born, so Chu Ye naturally had to stay by Qian Renxue's side. He quickly sat down cross-legged, intending to absorb this God-given soul ring first, and then go out to accompany Qian Renxue immediately. Before the child was born, he didn't want to care about anything else. After absorbing this God-given soul ring, my beast martial soul will be cultivated to the 6th ring. Adding one more in will open the martial soul true body of this martial soul, but the most important thing is, can this God-given soul ring help me break through the 100th level? Chu Ye was looking forward to it. The last time he absorbed the 5th ring, he felt vaguely that he had reached the edge of the 100th level. So this time, he also had the hope of breaking through the 100th level. Come on. He no longer hesitated and immediately absorbed this God-given soul ring. Chu Ye once again got a terrifying increase in soul power, and his realm was rapidly approaching the direction of the 100th level. Getting closer and closer. The soul ring also changed from white to red, and it was also infinitely close to a million-year soul ring, and it had never broken through to the level of a god-level soul ring. In fact, whether it was physical or mental strength, Chu Ye was absolutely qualified to carry a million-year soul ring, but perhaps because his level was not level 100, he could not break through this step. The 6th soul ring of the beast martial spirit finally appeared as emerald gold. At this moment, under Chu Ye's feet, blab, 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 red, 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 dark gold, red, 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 pink gold, orange gold, emerald gold. 15 rings, 3 blab, 8 red, 4 infinitely close to a million-year soul ring. And his martial spirit also evolved again. 6-color dragon martial spirit evolved into 7-color dragon, martial spirit quality, semi-god level, with 6 attributes of ice, fire, earth, wind, light, darkness, and space. Chu Ye opened his eyes instantly, the energy fluctuations dissipated, he stood up slowly, and sighed in his heart. Alas, I still can't break through the 100th level. And this martial soul quality, I thought it evolved directly from the best to the god level, but it turned out to be a demigod level. Well, if it evolves again, its strength can be comparable to the sword of gods and demons. He sensed it, the 6th soul skill. The 6 soul skills of the colorful dragon. Dragon space, can instantly open a space, and the user can move freely in space within a range of 500 meters. It can also travel through the dragon space to a distance of 10,000 meters away, transfer space, and change space to avoid attacks. Very strong. Chu Ye was a little surprised. This mood can be said to be very strange. It can greatly enhance the role in battle, and even have a unique escape. You can directly escape from a distance of 10,000 meters in space. Not bad. Chu Ye nodded. With this move, the combat effectiveness can undoubtedly be improved by a level. He can also feel that after this wave, his soul power has reached the bottleneck of the 100th level. Even just now, he was trying to reach level 100, but because the absorption was almost finished when he was trying, he simply didn't have enough energy to break through the limit of the plane and reach the level 100. He still stayed at the peak of level 99. Forget it, let's do it next time. Chu Ye sorted out his mood. He couldn't break through this time, but he had a strong premonition that the next time he absorbed the 7th soul ring, it might be the time for him to break through level 100. Once the realm reached level 100, then Chu Ye's power would inevitably be a qualitative leap. It's time to go out. Chu Ye smiled and quickly left the dragon god space. In the next period of time, Chu Ye stayed with Qian Renxue all the time, waiting for the baby in her belly to be born. And this day will come soon. In 3 days, Qian Renxue was exactly 10 months old, full term. At this moment, in the hall, Qian Renxue was sitting on the throne, dealing with some trivial matters and official business. Chu Ye sat beside her, assisting and sharing the work. Now Qian Renxue's abdomen is already very obvious, bulging very big, and even from time to time you can feel the fetal movement. Qian Renxue smiled helplessly. Chu Ye, our child is restless again, he is kicking my belly. Hehe, wait until he comes out, I will train him for you. Chu Ye joked. You dare? Ha, I don't dare, I don't dare. The two of them were handling the imperial business while laughing. Suddenly, Qian Renxue's face changed, showing a bit of panic and surprise. Chu Ye also noticed the change on Qian Renxue's face, and hurried forward. Zwyer, what's wrong? Chu Ye, I seem to have broken my water. Qian Renxue covered her abdomen. What? Chu Ye's face suddenly changed. He looked at Qian Renxue's thigh and saw it. He immediately became nervous. Zwyer, don't move. I'll do it. Chu Ye immediately picked up Princess Qian Renxue and rushed to the hall in an instant. Although he ran very fast, Qian Renxue in Chu Ye's arms lay very steadily without shaking at all. Bang! Chu Ye held Qian Renxue and kicked open the door of the hall, shouting loudly, "Someone come! Quick! Call the midwife!" Chu Ye's voice resounded throughout the entire Pope's palace, shocking everyone in the palace. Bai Dong, Qian Dalu, the 6 great priests, Douluo, Ghost Douluo, Snake Spear Douluo, and all the titled Douluo elders in the Pope's palace, including Ulina, Chu Ye, and all those who have a good relationship with Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. Everyone knew about it, and everyone was happy and excited. Is His Majesty about to give birth? Finally. The Son of God is finally coming to the world. Quick, everyone go wait outside the delivery hall. Chapter 391 Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's child is born. 3 years. 3 whole years. The child is finally going to be born. Shucks you, I've been waiting so long to hold my great-grandson. Qian Dalu was crying and was very relieved and excited. He also hurried to the direction of the delivery hall. Almost in an instant, the entire Pope's hall was in an uproar. All the high-level and middle-level spirit masters, big and small, stopped what they were doing and came to the delivery hall. The delivery hall was specially prepared for Qian Renxue's delivery. The midwife had already been invited here. At this moment, outside the hall, Chu Ye was walking back and forth at the door, waiting anxiously. Qian Dalu, Bai Dong, the 6 great priests, all the titled Douluo elders, and hundreds of high-level and middle-level spirit masters gathered outside the hall and waited. Everyone was waiting here with great excitement to witness the birth of the Son of God. Such a grand ceremony was too grand. The last time so many high-level people gathered was when Qian Renxue was promoted to the throne. Qian Renxue's painful cries could be heard in the hall. Even gods would feel very painful when giving birth. Zwyer, hold on. Chu Ye became more and more anxious, and walked around outside anxiously. Childbirth is inherently dangerous, and sometimes even life-threatening, but it only applies to ordinary people. It is impossible for a god like Qian Renxue to have such a situation, but Chu Ye was still worried. He wished that he could bear the pain of childbirth for Qian Renxue. Qian Dalu rolled his eyes. Chu Ye, don't walk around. You are almost making my old bones dizzy. Just wait patiently. Mother and daughter will be safe. Okay. Chu Ye stopped walking, but he couldn't calm down and waited silently. Time passed by minute. After a long time. Wow. Finally, the cry of a newborn baby was heard in the hall. It's born. Your Majesty has given birth. Zwyer. That's great. Chu Ye was also very excited. This day has finally come. From now on, he will have another identity, that is, a father. He just wanted to rush over immediately to see if it was a boy or a girl, to see his beloved woman. But at this moment, a strange sound came from the palace again. Everyone faintly heard that there was another one, and another one. Twins. Chu Ye, Qian Dalu, and Bai Dong were all very surprised. A moment later. Wow! The cry of a baby was heard again in the palace. The delivery was finally over. Qian Renxue gave birth to 2 children. Chu Ye opened the door of the palace and rushed in immediately. He walked to the bed and saw the 2 children in Qian Renxue's arms. The newborn baby was very small. If the part was not exposed, it would be impossible to tell whether it was a boy or a girl. Chu Ye looked at his haggard woman and the child in her arms. His heart became extremely gentle at this moment. He slowly moved forward, half-squatted in front of Qian Renxue's bed, and gently touched Qian Renxue's hair. You've worked hard, Zwyer. It's not hard. Seeing them come out, I feel that everything is worth it. Come on, Zwyer, let me see our child. Is it a boy or a girl? Be careful, they are still very fragile now. Qian Renxue reminded. I know. Chu Ye nodded, carefully took the 2 children in Qian Renxue's arms, and then gently turned over the cloth covering the children. One had a younger brother, and the other did not. It's actually twins. Chu Ye was extremely surprised. One boy and one girl, perfect. Because, for Chu Ye and Qian Renxue, they actually wanted a boy and a girl. The one born first was a son, and the one born later was a daughter. A brother and a sister. Seeing Chu Ye holding two children with a silly smile on his face, Qian Renxue also smiled warmly, looking at her man and children with a happy face. Chu Ye, just follow what we said before, the boy will be named Chu Han and the girl will be named Chu Xiu. In the future, whoever inherits the six-winged angel martial spirit will change his name to Qian. Chu Ye said with a smile. Well, okay. The family of four got along warmly. At this time, Qian Dalu and Bai Bai Dong also walked in. Come on, Chu Ye, shucks you, let me hug you too. Qian Dalu couldn't wait, and as soon as he came in, he wanted to hug his great-grandson. Bai Bai Dong was watching the two children silently on the side. Although the relationship between Bai Bai Dong and Qian Renxue has long erased many barriers, the problems between them as mother and daughter have not been completely solved. Now they are still in a relationship, which is a rather awkward situation. But for Chu Ye's Qian Renxue's children, Bai Bai Dong naturally loves them very much. The children of her daughter and the children of her apprentice, Bai Bai Dong also has a relationship with the two children and grandmother. Bai Bai Dong naturally wanted to hug her grandson, but she didn't go forward, just looked at them silently. The speed of recovery of gods is very fast. After resting for about an hour or two, Qian Renxue can get out of bed. Chu Ye supported Qian Renxue, each holding a child, and slowly walked out of the hall. At this moment, the crowd outside the hall has not dispersed yet, and everyone is waiting. Seeing Chu Ye and Qian Renxue holding the newborn babies, the elders of the worship, the elders of the title Douluo, and the collective high level all knelt on one knee and said in unison, "Congratulations to Lord Chu Ye, your majesty is blessed with a dragon and a phoenix. We welcome the Son of God to the world." Soon, the news that Qian Renxue gave birth to twins, the Son of God, spread throughout the continent, resounding through the streets of cities large and small. The entire Soul Master world is also very much looking forward to the future achievements of these two children and what kind of performance they will have. But everyone agreed that the offspring of Chu Ye and Qian Renxue must also be gifted and talented, and will be top talents in the future. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were also looking forward to whose martial spirit these two children will inherit in the future. For the next period of time, Chu Ye did nothing else, and stayed with Qian Renxue and the children all the time, taking care of the children with Qian Renxue and being a good father. Unknowingly, a month later, both children are already a full month old. The skin of the newly born babies is red, and they look a little strange, or a little deformed. But after a month, the skin began to gradually turn white, and they looked chubby, which was very cute. They all put down the things at hand, accompanied their children to grow up every day, and lived a shameless, happy life. Half a year later, little Chu Han and little Chu Xiu had learned to crawl, and could even make very vague sounds that were barely close to their father and mother. Chapter 392 All the gods gather to judge the god of Phoenix. This made Chu Ye and Qian Renxue very surprised and happy. They couldn't help but sigh that babies grow up really fast. Unknowingly, they have grown up a lot and changed a lot compared to when they were just born. Indistinctly, there is a resemblance between Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. The son is more like Chu Ye, and the daughter is more like Qian Renxue. After half a year of companionship, Chu Ye has completely adapted to the role of father and has more responsibilities. Half a year is a long enough rest. Qian Renxue began to practice and take charge of the empire again. Chu Ye spent more time taking care of the children by himself, becoming a full-time dad, making milk powder, changing diapers, bathing, and all kinds of things. Chu Ye thought it was easy to take care of children, but he didn't expect that it would be so troublesome to take care of them alone. Hey! You kid, why did you poop again? Alas, I changed 5 diapers for you in one day, can you be quiet? Hey! Don't wet the bed, girl. Damn it. It's time to wash the sheets again, you two little guys, can't you let me lie down comfortably for a while? Chu Ye held his daughter and changed his son's diaper. It seemed that he did nothing all day, but he felt very busy. In the evening, Qian Renxue came back, and Chu Ye finally had some free time. Chu Ye, you are finally back. Qian Renxue covered her mouth and smiled. Okay, leave it to me next. At the beginning of being a full-time dad, Chu Ye was really busy, but as time went by, he gradually adapted to taking care of the children. Another half a year passed, and he spent it in this peaceful, ordinary but happy day. Unknowingly, the children are already 1 year old. They have learned to walk, and can also simply call Dad, Mom, and other names. A year has passed. Chu Ye only has 4 years left for the 7th test of the Dragon God. Although he really wants to spend more time with his children to grow up, and even wait for them to awaken their martial spirits and teach them to practice in person, he must also take the test to complete the inheritance of the Dragon God. Although there are still 4 years, it may not be so easy to fuse the artifacts in the 7th test, and Chu Ye cannot guarantee that he can complete it in the remaining time. Therefore, he must break his ordinary life and continue to devote himself to practice. Next, I must start the Dragon God test. The 7th test still requires going to the Dragon Tomb. It may take nearly 4 years. Chu Ye looked at the 2 children. His 4 days in the God realm is 4 years. For Chu Ye, it is just 4 days, but for people in the mortal world, it is 4 years. Once he goes to the Dragon Tomb, he will miss the 4 years of growth of the children. For that children, it is particularly important to have their father accompany them for these 4 years. Chu Ye, this can't be helped. You have to do the Dragon God's assessment. The children will understand you. Qian Renxue comforted him, and then said, "Go do what you should do. I will take care of them. Hey, Zhuye, you'll have to work hard next. I will definitely come back as soon as possible." Chu Ye sighed in his heart. Just before Chu Ye decided to go to the Dragon Tomb of the God Realm again, a big stir had already occurred in the God Realm. Because Chu Ye absorbed the core of the Dragon God, the crust of the Dragon Tomb changed, began to move, and had a tendency to leave the God Realm. This matter has already been very obvious. The Phoenix God and the 3rd level gods guarding the Dragon Tomb, as well as the priests, have all noticed the changes in the Dragon Tomb. This matter can't be concealed. Now it has already alarmed the gods, and the 5 gods of the God Realm Committee have learned about it and held a meeting. The highest meeting of the God Realm, in the temple. The Azure God, the God of destruction, the God of evil, the God of kindness, the Goddess of life, the 5 gods, have all gathered, 5 rows together, sitting in the highest position of the temple. On the left and right sides, there were 18 first-level gods sitting in the God Realm. They were the 7 elemental gods, the God of fire, the God of water, the God of earth, the God of wind, the God of light, the God of darkness, and the God of space. And under the seat of the God of destruction, there were the 7 original sin gods, the God of greed, the God of laziness, the God of pride, the God of jealousy, the God of gluttony, the God of desire, and the God of anger. And there were 18 first-level gods, including the God of the sea, the God of thunder, the God of emotions, and the God of time. They had all gathered at the scene. All the God Kings, all the first-level gods, and the gods who stood at the peak of power and authority in the God realm of Douluo had already arrived. In addition, there was only one 2nd-level god in the temple. This 2nd-level god was the God of Phoenix, Fengtian. He was kneeling on his knees, accepting the scrutiny of the 5 great God Kings and all the first-level gods. The crustal movement of the Dragon Tomb is gradually moving away from the center of our Douluo God realm. If someone hadn't moved the core of the Dragon Tomb, how could this happen? Phoenix God, as the manager of the Dragon Tomb, you can't be unaware of what happened. Tell me what you know. Shuragod asked calmly. When Shuragod discovered the unusual movement of the Dragon Tomb, did he already have an answer in his heart? He even knew very well that the unusual movement of the Dragon Tomb was related to a human in the blue immortal realm, and this human had a huge connection with the Dragon God. Shuragod even guessed that the human might become the Dragon God in the future. But all this was just Shuragod's guess. He now wanted the Phoenix God to tell everything in person. Sorry, Shuragod King, I really don't know anything. The Phoenix God still kept his mouth shut. He said he would conceal it for Chu Ye, and he would conceal it to the end. God of Phoenix, trespassing into the Dragon Tomb is not such a big crime. Now you are facing the judgment of the gods, but you still know it but do not tell us. Have you ever thought about what consequences you'll bear once we find out the truth and prove that you're deceiving us? Now, you still have a chance to reduce your responsibility. Tell us everything you know. The Goddess of Life persuaded. It is true that trespassing into the Dragon Tomb is not a big deal. At most, you will be punished. It will not be as serious as abolishing your cultivation or beheading. The God of Phoenix is the official who guards the Dragon Tomb. If someone breaks the rules and chooses to cover up, this crime is much more serious than trespassing into the Dragon Tomb. But the gods do not know the real truth that the God of Phoenix concealed, but they also guessed that this matter is probably not that simple. The God of Phoenix is still firm and said that he did not know about this matter. Ah. Sensing the attitude of the god of Phoenix, the goddess of life and the god of kindness sighed in their hearts. Among the 5 great gods, if there is anyone who can be called kind, it is only the king of kindness and the goddess of life. Chapter 393 Chu Ye is exposed and is targeted by the god realm. These 2 great gods are not only kind-hearted, but can even be said to be a bit saintly. The gods present here are actually 100% sure that they can find out the truth that the Phoenix god is hiding. It can be said that they are still interrogating because the gods of life and kindness want to give the Phoenix god a chance to speak up and reduce his crime. But now they understand that the Phoenix god will not fight for this opportunity. Phoenix god, we have given you a chance. Since you don't take the initiative to confess, then we have no choice but to do this. The god of kindness shook his head, and then said to one of the 18 first-level gods sitting in the seat, God of time, please help me. Okay, leave it to me, king of kindness. The god of time nodded, slowly stood up from his seat, and then walked towards the god of Phoenix. What are you going to do? The Phoenix god suddenly became nervous, and he had a bad premonition in his heart. The god of time is the most mysterious among all the first-level gods. It can be said that few people have seen the god of time take action, and few gods understand the ability of the god of time. Therefore, the more mysterious this existence is, the more uneasy and frightened the Phoenix god is. I'm sorry, Phoenix god. The god of time slowly raised his left hand. Time domain. The power of the time domain instantly enveloped the god of time and the Phoenix god. Domain skill. Time rewind. The next second, the memory in the Phoenix god's brain seemed to be forcibly pulled out by the god of time. No matter how the Phoenix god resisted, he was powerless to fight back, because there were still many first-level gods' power around him, sealing him. He couldn't resist at all. My domain skill can present other people's memories in the form of pictures, and then reverse them. In other words, I can see what you have experienced. The god of time said, increasing the strength. What? The Phoenix god's face changed drastically. His memory was completely pulled out, like a projector, projecting the memory picture into the air, and all the gods present saw it. Those memory pictures were rewinding quickly until the memory part came to the dragon's room, and the picture began to slow down. It's over. The Phoenix god felt cold in his heart. He never expected that the god of time controlled such power and could not hide anything. He was not afraid of what kind of punishment he would suffer, but he felt a little sorry for Chu Ye. I'm sorry, the heir of the dragon god. Soon, the Phoenix god was pulled out of the memory and Chu Ye's face finally appeared. It turned out, it was him. The moment he saw Chu Ye, the sea god was extremely surprised and showed a strong killing intent at that moment. Although he quickly hid it, the Sure god still noticed the sea god's killing intent. As the memory continued to reverse, the gods saw the battle between the Silver Dragon King Yu, Chu Ye and the Phoenix god, and even the whole process of the Phoenix god meeting Chu Ye. Dragon god. The gods seemed to see something and these 2 words appeared. Resolve. When everything was clear, the time god decisively unlocked the domain. The heir of the dragon god, so that's how it is, no wonder this kid is so amazing, possessing extraordinary strength. Very good, Chu Ye, what about the heir of the dragon god? I was just worrying about how to kill you, but now you've taken the initiative to give me a chance. The sea god sneered in his heart, he knew that his chance to kill Chu Ye had come. People from the mortal world. The heir of the dragon god. Evil, destruction, kindness, life, and the first-level gods present were all very surprised after knowing the truth. They didn't expect that there was a lot of ties in this. Now the gods have all kinds of doubts in their hearts, and they all have their own thoughts, and each has their own little thoughts. The Azure god still has a blank expression on his face, but his heart is also fluctuating, although he has guessed these things a long time ago. As for what will happen after knowing the truth now, all the gods present now have different ideas. And the issue that the gods are most concerned about now is that the dragon god reappears and the soul beast can become a god, but this issue is very sensitive, and no god will easily take the initiative to bring it up. God of Phoenix, do you have any reason to explain now? The god of destruction sneered. The god of Phoenix sighed in his heart and stopped arguing. I'm willing to accept any punishment. Let's talk about the punishment later. Which mortal world does this human come from? The goddess of life asked. The god of Phoenix shook his head. Lord of life, I really don't know this question. You have seen all my memories. I'm not lying. The god of the sea knew about it and even knew Chu Ye's background very well, but he did not speak. He was very calm. Now was not the time to say that he knew Chu Ye. After all, he had sent a priest to the lower world to kill Chu Ye. The god of the sea did not want to reveal anything about himself and Chu Ye, because he knew that the god realm would most likely go down to the lower world to capture Chu Ye. If the gods knew that there was a personal grudge between him and Chu Ye, then he might miss several opportunities to kill Chu Ye. In many cases, the god realm still handled things impartially when it came to obvious matters. No need to ask, I know where this person is, in the Douluo mortal realm. Sure, a god slowly stood up from the throne of the god king and looked at the other 4 god kings. Evil, destruction, kindness, life. Do you remember what I said at the time? Sure, a god king, you mean? The other 4 god kings remembered. At the time, Shuragod said that a new star born by fate appeared in the Douluo mortal realm, and even Shuragod could not see its fate clearly. This new star may disrupt the pattern of the god realm and make the god realm go to a point that Shuragod could not predict. At the time, the several god kings did not think so. After all, how powerful can a newcomer be? In the end, he can be stronger than the 5 god kings in the god realm. What pattern can be changed? But now it seems that Shuragod has really fulfilled it. Dragon god successor. Once he becomes the dragon god, it will be the time for the beast god to revive. The god realm will accept the existence of the beast god again, which will indeed disrupt the pattern of the god realm. And the power controlled by the dragon god is enough to threaten the 5 god kings. Once the dragon god reappears, it also means that animals can become gods. In the future, animal gods will gradually appear in our divine world. Animals are ferocious and aggressive by nature. After all, they are alien races from us humans. In the future divine world, if there are animal gods, I am afraid that disputes will often arise. The first level god Thunder God suddenly said with a hint of meaning. Chapter 394 God of Destruction. Send out the gods to the lower world to capture Chu Ye. Hey, Thunder God, what do you mean by that? You want to tell us that we can't let this human become the dragon god, and you want us to stop him, right? Fire God said with a stern face. Hey, Fire God, I didn't say I would intervene and stop this human from becoming the dragon god. I just said again, after the dragon god appears, what kind of consequences will it bring to our future god realm? Thunder God said. Humph. Thunder God doesn't dare to say it clearly, then I will say it. One of the 7 original Sing gods, the god of desire, stood up with a sneer on his face. I think that the god realm ruled by our human gods is enough, and the god realm no longer needs the beast god. As Thunder God said, beasts are ferocious and aggressive, and they are different races from us humans. If the beast gods are allowed to return to the god realm, there will definitely be fights and disputes in the future, and even the war between humans and beasts will be triggered again. This child, it is impossible to keep him. The god of desire said it very directly and bluntly. Others may not dare to say it, but he dares. The god of desire is the strongest among the 7 original Sing gods, and is also one of the top combat forces among all the first level gods. The 7 original Sing gods are backed by the god of destruction and are the gods under the seat of the god of destruction. The god of emotions stood up at this time, and his voice of opposition was very tough. Don't forget, if the dragon god had not allowed us humans to cultivate and become gods, how could we be here today? The war in the divine world back then was caused by the dragon god, but it also ended because of the dragon god. If the dragon god had not volunteered to be killed, how could we be here today? Unless the dragon god reappears and the dragon race revives, the beasts will have to become gods. This rule is the agreement we made with the dragon god back then. We must abide by the agreement we made back then. Do you want to be a villain who does not keep your word and does not keep your promise? TSK. As soon as the god of emotions said this, the god of desire, the thunder god, and other gods who did not want to see the dragon god reappear, all shut up. 2 opposing factions quickly formed at the scene. One side supports the return of the dragon god, acquiesces, and lets it develop naturally. The other side opposes the return of the dragon god and refuses the return of the beast god to the god realm. Even the 5 great god kings actually have differences on this issue, forming 2 opposing factions. Azura God had long guessed that this would happen, so his true thoughts have never been exposed. As the 5 great god kings of the god realm, whether they are willing or unwilling, they will not say it clearly. After all, if even the god king does not keep his word, what credibility can the god realm have? Therefore, even if the god king does not want to see the return of the dragon god, he will support it on the surface, but what he will do in private is unknown. We will definitely abide by the agreement we made with the dragon god. When the dragon god returns, the god realm must accept the beast god. This cannot be changed. Azura God directly interrupted the quarrel. Later he said, But no matter whether this human is the descendant of the dragon god or not, and whether he can become the dragon god, he has violated the laws of the god realm and the forbidden dragon to mean that god realm is immortal. This child should also be punished accordingly. God King Shura, ignorance is not a crime, we, God King kindness. Do you think he really doesn't know? God Shura interrupted the god of kindness. This god of destruction said, "That's right, according to the rules of the god realm, anyone who violates the laws of the god realm, no matter how big or small the crime is, must accept the corresponding punishment. Since this dragon god descendant has violated the laws of the god realm, he must be punished accordingly. I suggest that the gods be sent immediately to the lower world to capture him." I agree. The evil god also nodded and seconded the motion. When the god realm has different opinions and disagreements, they all vote. The minority obeys the majority. The three god kings of destruction, evil, and Shura agree, and this matter has been decided. The gods were not fools. They could guess that some gods might take this opportunity to wipe out the heir of the dragon god, including the god king. This boy can fight with the phoenix god. His strength should not be underestimated. I'm afraid that ordinary second-level gods cannot deal with him. I, the sea god, am willing to take action to capture Chu Ye and bring him back to the god realm. I ascended to become a god from the Douluo mortal realm, and I know more about that place. The sea god finally spoke. Sea god, then I'll trouble you to go there. The Azure god was the first to agree. The sea god didn't expect it to be so easy to let him go down to the world to deal with Chu Ye. He not only glanced at the Azure god more, but the Azure god had guessed that the sea god might take action. The Azure god did not forget the killing intent of the sea god just now. After talking about Chu Ye, the eyes of the gods fell on the Phoenix god again. God of Phoenix, you are the manager of the dragon tomb. Someone broke in privately, but you knew it but didn't report it. You covered up and concealed it. When facing the judgment of the gods, you still lead. You will endure 3 levels of punishment in the palace and accept your crime. Afterwards, you will be imprisoned in the prison for 1,000 years and released after serving your sentence. 3 levels of punishment. The face of the god of Phoenix darkened. This level of punishment would cost him a lot of money even if he didn't die. There is even a high probability that his position as a god would be damaged again. And 1,000 years refers to the time in the mortal world, which is 1,000 days in the god realm, about 3 years. Alas! The god of Phoenix sighed in his heart, but he did not regret his choice. He just hoped that what he did would not be in vain, and that Chu Ye could get through this difficult time. He slowly stood up and walked out of the temple step by step. The meeting of the god realm ended, and the gods dispersed, and the god of the sea was ordered to prepare to capture Chu Ye in the lower world. Ha, kid, I finally waited for this opportunity. This time, I will go down to the mortal world in person. I want to see how you can still be arrogant in front of me. Ha ha ha. Dare to kill my successor Tang-san, dare to go against me, the sea god many times, kid, this time, I, Poseidon, will make you pay a heavy price. You can't escape, dragon god successor, ha ha, there are many gods in the god realm who want to kill you now. The sea god was vicious and sneered. The sea god did not delay and prepared to go down to the mortal world as quickly as possible. In the god realm, there is a gate to the god realm. The gate to the god realm connects the 108 planes of the mortal world. Here he can reach the Douluo Continent at the fastest speed. But on the way to the gate to the god realm, the sea god suddenly realized that the breath of the Shura god was nearby. The next second, the voice of the Shura god also sounded in the sea god's mind. Poseidon, you can kill the dragon god's successor, Chu Ye. Don't worry, when you return to the god realm, I will ensure that you are safe. Hearing what Azure god meant, Poseidon was not too surprised, because he could actually understand why the dragon god's successor wanted to die. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 395. The sea god descends to the mortal world and overwhelms Wuhan City. It was just that I didn't expect that Shura god, as the law enforcer of the god realm, who should have enforced the law impartially, would secretly want to eliminate the successor of the dragon god. It seems that, Shura god king, you don't want the dragon god to reappear. The sea god used the same method to transmit the voice to Shura god's ears. Originally, the sea god only planned to beat Chu Ye to pieces, and then bring him back to the god realm, and then find a way to kill him. After all, his mission in the lower world this time was to capture, not to kill. If he beat him to pieces, and brought him back to the god realm, and then found a way to kill Chu Ye later, it would be much easier. But now that Sure God is covering him, the sea god will naturally not miss the opportunity to kill Chu Ye directly. Don't worry, Sure God King, I won't let him come to the god realm alive. The sea god sneered in his heart. Now he has nothing to worry about, and his murderous intent is completely burning in his heart. Chu Ye, it seems that you're dead this time. Sure God did not speak again, and his breath disappeared. The sea god then left here, entered the gate of the god realm, and went to the Douluo mortal realm. A bloody storm is coming. The powerful first level god of the god realm, the sea god, will personally descend to the world to kill Chu Ye. Chu Ye is now completely in the sight of the god realm. He is still completely unaware of the news that he has exposed himself and the news that the sea god has descended to the world to kill him. On this day, the Wuhan city was still calm and peaceful, no different from usual. Before Chu Ye was about to go to the dragon tomb, he planned to spend a few more days with his 2 children. On this day, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue and his family of 4 were on the square of the Pope's palace. The family of 4 held hands and stood in a row, walking and jogging with 2 little babies. It was very warm, happy, and ordinary happiness. But at this time, the sky of the Wuhan palace suddenly changed into dark clouds. The dark clouds pressed down on the city. The sky, which was originally clear, was covered by a large number of dark clouds, which became more and more dense. The sky began to gradually darken. The sudden change made Chu Ye's family of 4 very tacitly raise their heads and look at the sky at the same time. Only 1-year-old, Shu Han and Shu Zhu naturally didn't understand what was happening. They took a look and wanted to continue playing. But Chu Ye and Qian Renxue just stared at the sky. They all suddenly had a very bad premonition. Chu Ye, I'm afraid something big is going to happen. The black clouds continued to press down on the city. The entire sky was completely covered by black clouds. It was clearly afternoon when the sun was at its highest, but the sky of Wuhan city fell into darkness. The black clouds began to swirl, forming a huge vortex in the sky, and a rumbling sound was heard. Lightning and thunder. The next second, a heavy rain fell. At that moment, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue both released energy layers to cover Shu Han and Shu Zhu, preventing them from getting wet. Swear, it is very likely that my affairs have been exposed. Chu Ye looked at the sky with a serious face and said slowly. Chu Ye, no matter what happens next, I will be by your side and face it with you. Qian Renxue also guessed it, and also looked at the sky with a serious look. The strange noise in Wuhan city soon alarmed the entire Wuhan city. Hey! Look up at the sky, what's going on? Countless civilians put down what they were doing, walked out of the house, and looked at the strange phenomenon in the sky with puzzled faces. They didn't know what happened. But the collective masters of the Pope's palace could also foresee that something bad might happen next. They immediately came to the backbone of the Wuhan palace, Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. Bang! Qian Dalu, the peak peerless Luo of level 99, and Bai Bai Dong, a first level god, came to Chu Ye first. Chu Ye, shucks you, do you know what happened? Qian Dalu and Bai Bai Dong also looked serious. Following closely, the 6 great priests of the Wuhan palace, the second priest at level 99, Golden Crocodile Duo, that's right, Golden Crocodile Duo, has broken through to level 99. The third level 98 worshipper, King Yuan Duo, the fourth level 98 worshipper, Lion Duo, the fifth level 97 worshipper, Guangling Duo, the sixth level 97 worshipper, the seventh level 97 worshipper, Qianjin Duo and Jiang Duo. They all appeared behind Chu Ye and others. Compared with the past, these 6 great worshippers have all collectively upgraded 1 level. Following closely, Chrysanthemum Duo, Ghost Duo, Snake Spear Duo, Thorny Porpoise Duo, Demon Bear Duo, Ghost Leopard Duo, and Spirit Kite Duo also arrived. Now Chrysanthemum Duo is at the peak of level 96, and Ghost Duo has just broken through level 96. Snake Spear Duo has risen from level 92 to the current level 94, and Spirit Kite Duo is level 94. Demon Bear Duo and Ghost Leopard Duo are still level 95, and Thorny Porpoise Duo is level 93. Many of the titled Duo elders in the Spirit Hall have almost grown. Many masters of the Spirit Hall gathered around Chu Ye and Qian Renxue. Qian Renxue and Bai Bai Dong are both first-level gods, but they can only exert the combat power of the peak of the second-level gods. Chu Ye can also reach the peak combat power of the second-level gods with the blessing of various powers. 3 second-level gods have the combat power of the peak. Qian Dalu was a demigod, and the rest are all titled Luo combat power. Such power can completely sweep the entire continent, but at this moment, none of them look relaxed, and they all feel a strong sense of oppression and threat. Lord Chu Ye, Your Majesty, what is going on? Golden Crocodile Douluo asked. God is going to the lower world. Chu Ye said. What? God? The strong men were shocked when they heard it. What is going on? Elders, if there is a battle later, you don't have to intervene. With your strength, you are too weak to face the gods. Chu Ye said in a deep voice. The titled Luos looked at each other and were extremely serious. No matter what happens between Lord Chu Ye and the God Realm, as long as they are Lord Chu Ye's enemies, even if they are gods, we will definitely do our best to help Lord Chu Ye to the death. Ha ha, you are really loyal. At this time, an extremely loud voice was heard in the sky. The owner of the voice was no stranger to Chu Ye. Poseidon. Chu Ye's eyes suddenly burst into murderous intent. He knew who was coming. It was the god that Chu Ye had always wanted to kill, the sea god, Poseidon. He is here as expected. Chu Ye's mood had become gloomy. From the moment he felt that the god was about to descend, Chu Ye actually understood that it was very likely that the god realm had learned about the changes in the dragon tomb. Now that the god realm has sent a god to the lower world, it must be that his existence has been completely exposed. But Chu Ye did not expect that this day would come so soon, and that it would be so easy to find out that it was him. He would not only think about whether the Phoenix god had exposed his affairs under the oppression of the gods. Chapter 396 Chu Ye. Crime. What crime have I committed? But now is not the time to care about this problem. Instead, the Poseidon appeared in front of him. Boom boom boom. The dark clouds surrounding the sky gradually dispersed, and a strong golden light shone down from it. The figure of the Poseidon finally appeared in front of the gods. On the left and right sides of the Poseidon, there were two third-level gods. These two third-level gods were members of the law enforcement team of the god realm, and accompanied that Poseidon to the lower world. Poseidon, we finally meet. Chu Ye's voice echoed, staring at the Poseidon. It was naturally not the first time that he and the Poseidon met and clashed, but before, they all appeared in the form of the Poseidon's remnant, and they were not the real Poseidon. And this time, Chu Ye really saw the Poseidon, and the Poseidon's breath emanating from the other party was completely different from the so-called remnant before. This is the aura and breath emitted by a veteran first-level god. For the first time, Chu Ye felt an extremely strong sense of oppression, which was far higher than the Phoenix god he met in the Dragon Tomb at the time, and his current strength was definitely not a match for the Poseidon. HMPH. Chu Ye, the heir of the Dragon God, you have committed a crime and violated the laws of the God Realm. Today, I, the Sea God Poseidon, will represent the God Realm and personally capture you and take you back to the God Realm to accept God's judgment. The extremely majestic voice of the sea god resounded throughout the Wihun city, and there was a strong murderous intent hidden in his eyes. Chu Ye felt that Poseidon said he wanted to capture him back to the god realm, maybe he wanted to kill him directly. Yes. This is indeed a good opportunity, and Chu Ye can be killed on the grounds of manslaughter. At the time, he will return to the god realm to plead guilty, and the sea god will most likely not die. Ha ha ha. Chu Ye suddenly laughed, pointed at the sea god in the sky, and said loudly, "Crime." Ha ha, what crime did I, Chu Ye, commit? Hectares, I knew you wouldn't admit it, so I'll tell you in person. You trespassed into the god realm as a mortal, which is one crime, and you trespassed into the forbidden area of the Dragon Tomb, which is the second crime. Chu Ye, don't deny it, we have enough evidence. Now, do you give up resistance and take the initiative to go back to the god realm with me to accept trial, or do I do it myself? Ha ha. The sea god sneered. He knew that Chu Ye would not follow him obediently, and would definitely resist. Then, the sea god could make a move, pretending to miss, and kill Chu Ye. Boy, you are dead today, I will definitely let you know the consequences of provoking me, the sea god. Poseidon was vicious in his heart. It is a crime for mortals to wend to the god realm. Is there such a rule in the laws of the god realm? Besides, what do the laws of your god realm have to do with me, a mortal? I am not your god. The laws and regulations of the god realm are only for people in the god realm, right? Is the mortal world also within the legal system of your god realm rules? Chu Ye said with a smile. The sea god and the two third-level gods beside him were stunned when they heard it. It seems that there is no clear regulation in the laws of the god realm. Is there a rule that mortals cannot trespass into the god realm? It seems that it has never been set, because, how can mortals come to the God realm? This is simply impossible to do. There is no precedent for mortals to went to the God realm, but the gods subconsciously think that mortals cannot come to the God realm casually. The laws and regulations of the God realm have never said that there are also people outside the God realm, targeting mortals, but in the eyes of the gods, mortals who come to the God realm and trespass into the forbidden dragon tomb of the God realm should also be punished. But there is indeed no clear regulation for mortals in the mortal world. It seems that there is no such thing, so what I did is innocent. Chu Ye said. Humph. You are so eloquent. No matter what you say today, you have to go to the God realm with us. Whether you are guilty or not, we will talk about it in the God realm law enforcement hall. The sea god sneered, and then looked at the 2 third-level gods. You two, this kid will not follow us obediently, can we take action? Lord Sea God, he is just a mortal, we can just take action. The 2 third-level gods had no idea how strong Chu Ye was, and said confidently, and as their eyes fell on Chu Ye, a mere mortal, are you really going to rebel against God? I, Chu Ye, have no intention of confronting God, but I'm sorry, I will not go with you today. Chu Ye's attitude was strong and his voice was majestic. HMPH. Do you think you can decide this? You were a first-level mortal, what can you use to compete with God? It's easy to take you down, I advise you not to be ungrateful. The 2 third-level gods looked disdainful, and their eyes clearly showed contempt and hostility towards Chu Ye. The 2 third-level gods also did not want to see the dragon god reappear as a god hostile to the beasts. Therefore, there was not much mercy in their eyes. If Chu Ye refused, they would beat him hard. Since you insist on suffering the pain of the flesh, then blame us for being ruthless. The 2 third-level gods instantly rose up, and the terrifying divine power and the oppressive feeling from the gods instantly enveloped them. This is the power of God. Seeing the 2 third-level gods emitting terrifying divine power, at this moment, the 6 great priests and all the titled Douluo elders truly understood how weak they were in front of the gods. Even the golden crocodile Douluo, who had reached level 99, felt that his power was vulnerable in front of the gods. The appearance of the sea gods made all the soul masters of the Pope's palace, including all the civilians of the entire Wuhan city, see it and pay attention to the sky above the Pope's palace. It's over. It's over. Lord Chu Ye, how did you provoke the gods? How can the power of mortals fight against gods? What are you panicking about? We have the angel god Qian Renxue and the Rakshasa god Pact Dong in the Wuhan palace. It's not that easy for these gods to do anything to Lord Chu Ye. But the other side has 3 gods. Most people, soul masters, have no concept of the realm of gods. They don't know that gods also have levels and strengths. They think that the strength of gods is about the same. Therefore, at this moment, countless soul masters of the Wuhan Palace and civilians of Wuhan City are looking at their worriedly. Hehe, just 2 third-level gods, what are you so arrogant about? Pact Dong sneered and was about to take action. Qian Renxue also wanted to take action at that moment. But he was stopped by Chu Ye. Teacher, Chu Ye, let me do it. Chu Ye stood in front of Qian Renxue and Pact Dong, looking at the sky with indifference. His emotions were extremely calm, but the next second, an extremely terrifying aura and sword intent instantly ignited. The soul rings under his feet appeared one after another, and the sword of gods and demons also appeared in his hand. It's easy to take me down. Okay, let me see how powerful you so-called powerful gods are. Chapter 397 Chu Ye chopped down 2 gods with one blow, shocking Wuhan City. Bang! Hush! Chu Ye's figure soared into the sky. Looking for death. A mere mortal, you dare to compete with God. You are simply overestimating yourself. Do you think you are so awesome just because you are the descendant of Dragon God? No matter how powerful the god you inherited is, you are only a mortal now. Mortals are not worthy at being compared with gods. We will let you know the gap between mortals and gods. Looking for death. The 2 third-level gods looked disdainful, and their mocking voices resounded through the world. They accelerated their speed and mobilized terrifying power to bombard. God. Hectares. What if you were a god? 2 great gods. Let me see if you can block my sword. Chu Ye was extremely domineering, and he soared into the sky and flew towards the 2 third-level priests. Lord Chu Ye. The 6 great priests, all the titled Douluo elders, and the soul masters going up and down in the distance, as well as the entire Wuhan city, a large number of civilians who were paying attention to this place from afar. Seeing Chu Ye soaring into the sky to face 2 gods, they were extremely nervous and worried. That was a god. Lord Chu Ye, you're actually fighting against gods. It's over. There are two gods, Lord Chu Ye, how can one person not beat two gods? Will you be killed, Aizen? No, I don't want to see Lord Chu Ye get into trouble. Don't go. Lord Chu Ye. Countless ordinary soul masters, as well as civilians looking at the sky from afar, were all nervous and worried. Chu Ye's reputation, status, fame, and prestige in the entire Wuhan Empire and the entire Wuhan Hall are very high. He is an existence that countless people admire, look up to, and worship. He is an idol in the hearts of countless people. But no matter how strong Chu Ye is, in the eyes of most soul masters and ordinary people, he can never be a match for God. Countless young girls who admire Chu Ye couldn't bear to close their eyes. In their opinion, no matter how strong a mortal is, he can't fight against your God. Don't overestimate your own abilities. The two third-level gods felt that their divine majesty had been seriously challenged, and their eyes were already burning with boundless anger. They planned to cripple Chu Ye with one blow. You are the ones who don't overestimate your own abilities. God. Do you really think that your power as a god is invincible in front of mortals? Senlo formation, sun and moon rotating, god and demon sword technique, second style, god and demon killing god slash. In an instant, Chu Ye's body was filled with an extremely terrifying sword intent, the sun and moon rotated, and the power enveloped him, making the two third-level gods who attacked feel an extremely terrifying power on the spot. How is it possible? The two third-level gods immediately showed an expression of disbelief and extreme fear on their faces. You two are the ones who are looking for death. Chu Ye's face was cruel. Puff. Wei. Chu Ye slashed the chests of the two third-level gods fiercely, blood gushed out, and the two gods fell from the sky at the same time and hit the ground hard. Bang. Bang. Fuck you. Gods were chopped. Oh my god. Two gods were chopped off by Lord Chu Ye's sword. So terrifying. Lord Chu Ye is so terrifying. Awesome. Too strong. Really too strong. Hey. This. Is Lord Chu Ye's power stronger than that of gods? Too shocking. Seeing the two gods being chopped off by Chu Ye's sword, the 6 great priests, the titled Douluo, all the soul masters of the Pope's palace, and the Wuhan city, countless people who were paying attention to the Pope's palace. The civilians in the sky were all stunned. Chu Ye's move shocked the whole audience. Countless people began to get excited, and cheered wildly, sideways to the entire Wuhan city. That's a god. God. Being chopped off by a mortal soul master. This chop directly made Chu Ye's image sublimate again in the eyes of all soul masters and all the people of Wuhan city, reaching an unimaginable height. Oh, the power of God is only so much. You are too arrogant. If it weren't for the fact that you were assigned by the God realm, you two would have lost your heads today. Chu Ye in the sky flapped the wings of the dragon god and looked coldly at the third-level god who was severely injured and lost his combat ability after being chopped off by his sword. Then his eyes fell on the sea god in the sky. What kind of monster is this kid? A mortal can kill gods like us with one sword in seconds. This is impossible. Impossible. How can he be so strong? Is this real? The two third-level gods were embarrassed and lying on the ground, looking at Chu Ye who was looking down from the sky, doubting their lives. They were terrified, shocked, afraid, and scared. They could not imagine that this was a power that a mortal could do. Ha, not bad, not bad. The sea god clapped his hands continuously, and sneered, you are worthy of being able to fight with the Phoenix god. Your strength is indeed amazing, and beyond common sense. You really exceed my expectations time and time again. If someone like you inherits any god, I'm afraid that the power of the god will be taken to a higher level. Two third-level gods. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Are you fighting with the Phoenix god who is at the peak combat power of the second-level god? Sea god. You old fool. Why didn't you say it earlier? The two third-level gods roared crazily in their hearts. What a pity. Today, you'll die in my hands. The sea god narrowed his eyes slightly, and there was no longer any murderous intent towards Chu Ye in his eyes, and this sentence, only Chu Ye could hear. Chu Ye had guessed that the god of the sea might take this opportunity to kill him, but the words of the god of the sea made him a little confused. How do you know that I had a battle with the god of Phoenix? Did the god of Phoenix, really? Ha ha ha. The god of the sea laughed. Come to think of it, the god of Phoenix really protects you. Well, he and you are the same kind of people, both carrying animal gods. It is normal to be united. What a pity. In order to conceal your affairs, he has now been severely punished. He thought that as long as he refused to admit it, he would be fine. He didn't know that there are so many gods in the god realm, and there are also many gods who possess special abilities. Your affairs, like a picture, have all been seen by the god realm. I see. Chu Ye understood, and asked again. How is the god of Phoenix now? He has suffered 3 levels of punishment from the god realm. If he doesn't die, he will lose a layer of skin, or his position as a god will be damaged. He has been imprisoned in the god prison, and he probably won't die. Chu Ye was relieved to hear that the god of Phoenix was not dead. Chapter 398. Damn it, Poseidon. You deserve to die. Okay, your questions are over. Now, are you ready to face death? Poseidon's killing intent suddenly rose up. He slowly spread his hands, and the terrifying power of Poseidon began to cover the whole place. The artifact, Poseidon's trident, also appeared in Poseidon's hand. Sorry. I, Chu Ye, don't plan to die so soon. I still want to chop off your dog head of Poseidon with my own hands. Chu Ye looked at him coldly. Ha 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 ha. Upon hearing this, Poseidon laughed even more crazily and shook his head speechlessly. Foolish human. Do you think that you can match me, the first-level god Poseidon, with a passionate battle with a second-level god like the god of Phoenix? The power of each level of gods is very different. Soon, you will understand how powerful a god like me who has completely mastered the power of first-level gods can be. The next second, Poseidon's face instantly became ferocious, full of fierceness and anger. You evil creature. You have challenged my majesty many times and killed my heir whom I chose with great difficulty. You deserve to die. I'll make you understand the consequences of provoking me, Poseidon. Damn kid. Fuck you. Poseidon. You deserve to die. You old disgusting thing, you have interfered in the affairs of the mortal world many times and sent priests to the lower world to kill me. I have tolerated you for a long time. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Come on. Let's see whether you die or I live today. Chu Ye shouted at the sea god in anger, and a terrifying killing intent instantly ignited on his body. You. Evil creature. Evil creature. I'll kill you right now. I will definitely kill you. The sea god was so angry that he was shaking with anger, with a ferocious face and rage. He waved the sea god trident and stabbed madly. Go to hell. You should die. Chu Ye had a ruthless look on his face and madly killed the sea god. At this moment, he was in full state, with the wings of the dragon god, sharing power, and all the amplified power, all ignited. Even when facing the sea god, who was considered powerful among the first-level gods, Chu Ye's face did not show a trace of fear, because he knew that there were everyone behind him. Bold sea god. Don't you see whose territory this is? How dare you run wild in our Pope's palace? You are not worthy. Qian Renxue and Bai Dong's angry voices also rang out, and behind them, angelic divine armor and Rakshasa divine armor instantly appeared. The terrifying angelic divine power and Rakshasa divine power rose up. Angel holy sword. Rakshasa demon scythe. Qian Renxue and Bai Dong all released their divine armor and gods and rushed into the sky. Sea god. Die. Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, Bai Dong, the 3 of them currently have the power equivalent to the peak combat power of the second-level gods. All of them are trying their best to kill the sea god. Douluo shouted in an extremely urgent voice. Snake spear. Quick, protect the 2 young masters. Douluo is very considerate and cares about Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's children, Little Shu Han and Little Shu Zhu, and is worried that the energy fluctuations will impact the children. Snake Spear Douluo also reacted quickly, and immediately, he tried his best to protect the young masters. Bang! Boom boom boom! At this moment, the power of Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong had already confronted the sea god head-on. The terrifying energy of both sides was madly bombarded and confronted, and the energy suppressed each other and stalemate. The energy aftermath and the powerful aura directly suppressed the entire audience and spread out, and immediately suppressed all the people below. Just the energy aftermath made all the soul masters below the soul scent level in the entire Pope's palace be instantly pressed to the ground, and they couldn't struggle at all. Soul scent and soul Douluo level soul masters struggled to support, but they were also pressed to the ground one by one. Only the titled Douluo could barely resist the energy aftermath caused by the conflict between the god-level strongmen. This is the battle between gods, especially the battle between these gods who were almost at the top of the gods. Mortals seem to be unable to compete with the energy fluctuations of this level of god battle. But despite this, none of the titled Douluo present backed down. Let's help together. Okay. Who? Qian Renxue, the other 6 great priests, as well as Chrysanthemum Douluo, Ghost Douluo, Lion Douluo, Ghost Leopard Douluo, and all the titled Douluo present, released all their strength in the next second. A large amount of soul power rushed up to the sky, helping Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong to fight against the sea god together. Who? Everyone was pouring all their energy into it, and for a moment they reached a state of equality. The energy of both sides fought for more than 10 seconds, and the next second, it suddenly exploded. Bang! Boom! The sea god was shaken away for dozens of meters, and Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong were also shaken back to the ground. Many titled Douluo, except Qian Renxue, vomited blood on the spot, and their energy was almost exhausted in this wave. Puff! Many titled Douluo reached their limits. Great priest, elders, please step down and protect yourselves. Your existence is equally important to the spirit hall. Protect my son and daughter. Chu Ye said with a serious face. A big battle was about to start, and he must not be distracted. Yes. The titled Douluo sighed in their hearts, knowing that they could not help much. They could only lead Xiaoqian and Xiaochuxiu quickly to distance themselves from the distance. The collective help of so many titled Douluo can indeed bring a little effect, but in fact it is not very effective. If the sea god clears the field one by one, they may all be killed instantly. In the end, whether the sea god can be defeated, the role of these titled Douluo is minimal. At present, the only forces that can fight against the first level god sea god are Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong. Chu Ye, teacher, I am afraid it will be a hard battle today. Chu Ye looked at the 2 women next to him. Bai Dong was not afraid at all. Teacher, after becoming the Rakshasa god, you have never had a good fight. Feel the power of this god. Today, teacher, I will definitely accompany you to have a good fight with the sea god. I have never used the power of the angel god to have a good fight. Chu Ye, today, the 3 of us will fight together and kill him. Qian Renxue held the angel holy sword in her hand, with extraordinary bearing. The 2 women stared at the sky at the same time, extremely tough and domineering. Almost in unison. Qian Renxue. If you dare to touch my man, ask me, the angel god Qian Renxue, if I agree first. Bai Dong. If you dare to touch my disciple, ask me, the Rakshasa god Bai Dong, if I agree first. Qian Renxue, Bai Dong. Sea god. Give me your life. This time, Bai Dong and Qian Renxue were particularly tacit, and even their words were almost the same. Chapter 399 This old thief, sea god, is just as mean as Tang San. Qian Renxue and Bai Dong were extremely powerful, their voices echoed throughout the Wuhan city, and the next second, they both soared into the sky at the same time. One held the angel holy sword, and the other held the Rakshasa demon scythe. The 2 divine weapons, held in the hands of the 2 gods, killed the sea god. Chu Ye, teacher. Seeing the 2 most important women in his life rushing towards the sea god regardless of their own safety, Chu Ye's heart was throbbing again at that moment. He looked at their figures, and the next second, he also soared into the sky, igniting an endless fighting spirit. Old thief sea god, die for me. Looking at the 3 bursts of aura, the sea god's face was a little ugly. In the memories of the Phoenix god, Chu Ye came to the Dragon Tomb only a few years ago, and he saw it clearly at the time. In the memories of the Phoenix god, the scene of Chu Ye fighting with the Phoenix god was just the 5th level power of the Phoenix god fighting Chu Ye. In other words, the Chu Ye that the sea god knew should be at most the combat power of an ordinary 2nd level god. But now Chu Ye has actually shown the power equivalent to the peak of the 2nd level god, which is beyond the expectations of the sea god. In just a few years, has Chu Ye grown so fast? If he is given a few more years, can he challenge the 1st level gods with the power of mortals? The sea god was very shocked and extremely dreadful. If Chu Ye is given enough time to develop, he really feels that he will be killed by his own hands. This kid's growth rate is too terrifying. There are also those 2 women, the angel god Qian Renxue, and the Rakshasa god Bai Dong. They are all 1st level gods. Fortunately, they have just become gods and have not yet fully mastered the power of gods. If they are given a few more years, even if I take action myself, it will be difficult to kill any of them. But unfortunately, there is still a big gap between their power and mine. They must be eradicated as soon as possible, otherwise there will be endless troubles. The sea god is vicious. The third move of the Sea God Trident, never to return. Go. Angel Divine Skill, Angel Shield. Qian Renxue was the first to rush in front of Chu Ye and Bai Dong. A huge golden light shield enveloped her body to resist the attack of the Sea God Trident. Bang! The trident and the angel shield slammed together. Chu Ye, Bai Dong and Qian Renxue, the three of them had a tacit understanding. Qian Renxue defended, while Chu Ye and Bai Dong attacked the Sea God from left to right. The ninth soul skill, God and Demon Destruction. Rakshasa Divine Skill, Netherworld Rakshasa Slash. The terrifying power of God and Demon Destruction enveloped Chu Ye's Sword of God and Demon. The 9 huge sickles in Bai Dong's hand exploded instantly and slashed towards the Sea God. The two forces were already terrifying and blasted away. The Sea God's magic skill, the sea is without a trace. The Sea God used the purest water element to form a Dharma body, and in one fell swoop, he blocked the joint attack of Chu Ye and Bai Dong. Collect. The trident that flew out and was frantically bombarding Qian Renxue's angel shield instantly flew back and returned to the Sea God's hand. Get out. Bang. Boom. The Sea God waved the trident and repelled Chu Ye and Bai Dong in one fell swoop. The two of them were blown away. Seeing this, Qian Renxue immediately used her own soul power to pull Chu Ye and Bai Dong back to her side. The three stood on the same parallel line again. The fighting spirit was ignited. The previous battle was just a wave of advanced tests. The next step was the real fight. Chu Ye, teacher, are you ready? The real battle is about to begin. Chu Ye stared at the front. Yes. The three looked at each other, and the power of the domain was radiated from their bodies at the same time. God and Demon Realm. Angel Realm. Rakshasa Realm. Chu Ye, Bai Dong, Qian Renxue opened their own realms at the same time. The tense atmosphere has been ignited. The fight between the gods is about to begin. Countless people also looked worried and looked at the battle between the gods in the sky. Oh, even if the three of you join forces, you will not be my opponent. The Sea God sneered, and he began to be serious. A power of the domain also rose from his body. Sea God Realm. Don't think that I can't mobilize the power of the ocean because it is far away from the sea. Within the scope of my domain, everything is the power of the ocean. Chu Ye, today, no one can save you. Blue waves, Sea God, endless blue. Gather. At this moment, endless seawater suddenly emerged from the Sea God's domain. The seawater became larger and larger in a short time, as if the ocean in the distance was mobilized. If the huge ocean layer is hit, it will be enough to affect half of Wuhan City. Not good. Chu Ye's face changed drastically, and he glared at the Sea God. Poseidon, you bastard. If you want to fight, then fight. Don't let innocent people be affected. Hectares. The Sea God sneered. In order to achieve his goal, he didn't care about being merciful now. He directly waved the huge seawater that had been condensed and smashed it down. Boom boom boom. The seawater in the sky, like the amount of the ocean in a sea area, enveloped it from the sky. If it was smashed directly, it might threaten the people below. At this moment, the whole Wuhan city was in panic. Run. Run. All kinds of panic and terrified screams rang out throughout the Wuhan city. The whole city was in chaos in an instant, and all the civilians fled everywhere. In the Pope's palace, there were many titled Douluos such as Qian Dalu, who could barely protect the Pope's palace, but those civilians who were powerless were in danger, and many people might die if they were not careful. Damn it. It's so despicable. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue were both angry at the Sea God. As expected, what kind of person will pass on what kind of successor? This old thief Sea God is just as cheap as Tang San. Teacher. Chu Ye, protect the Wuhan city below us first. Okay. Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong dispersed instantly, and then released huge energy at the same time, connecting the energy together, to catch the huge falling ocean power at the same time. Not hesitating to consume more soul power, at that moment, the power of the ocean was suppressed, and countless seawater was thrown out of the Wuhan city as much as possible. Ushu. Puff. Chu Ye and the other two resolved the crisis and did not let the city below be seriously affected. Ha ha ha. Sea God laughed loudly and explained shamelessly. The battle between God-level strongmen is so powerful that it is inevitable that innocent people will be affected. If you don't want to see the battle between us and hurt those people, fine. Then you can enter my Sea God realm. Sea God sneered. He was threatening Chu Ye and the other two nakedly. In other words, if Chu Ye and the others don't follow him into the realm of the Sea God, then, Chapter 400 Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong join forces to fight Poseidon. Then, Poseidon will use his own power to threaten those ordinary innocent people. The Poseidon realm of Poseidon is a small world created by the power of Poseidon, and everything in that world is the ocean. Poseidon is a god who controls the power of the ocean. So, fighting on the ocean, Poseidon's battle will reach the strongest state, and he can borrow the power of the ocean infinitely to enhance his own power. The small world of Poseidon realm can achieve the effect of fighting in the ocean. Therefore, Poseidon wants to bring Chu Ye and the other two into it, and then solve them together. Because Poseidon also knows that it is not so easy for him to defeat Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong, who are all strong men at the peak of the second-level gods. It must be a long battle. Only by introducing them into the Poseidon realm can they be solved faster. Moreover, the most important thing is that although the two third-level gods cannot fight, they are still conscious. They are also watching the battle above and watching what Poseidon does. He can't do it too blatantly. But it's different when you enter the Poseidon realm. At the time, he can do whatever he wants. What should we do, Chu Ye? If we continue to fight here, the Sea God will inevitably send his power to the people of Wuhan City again. But if we enter the Sea God's realm, it is equivalent to entering the Sea God's strongest domain. We are already at a disadvantage. When we enter the world in the Sea God's home field, we will be more disadvantaged and passive. Qian Renxue said with a serious face. You can try to create an opportunity for me to pull the Sea God into my Renxue prison. Bai Dong suggested. Renxue prison? Yes. Bai Dong nodded. The Renxue God also has such an ability to pull the enemy into the small world created by the Renxue God's power, but it is a bit difficult to do this in the case of a huge disparity in power. Chu Ye also has an evil god space, but the conditions for creating opportunities in the evil god space are more difficult. Moreover, his combat power will indeed increase when entering the evil god space, but he can only pull one person in. In the 1v1 situation, without the help of Qian Renxue and Bai Dong, although Chu Ye's combat power is stronger, it is equivalent to our strength being weaker. Because relying on him alone, he can't fight against the current first-level god, the Sea God. Therefore, there are only two choices now, either to drag the Sea God into Bai Dong's Renxue prison, or they enter the Sea God realm. Hey, you three, have you thought about it? I will only give you the last 10 seconds. The Sea God sneered and began to count. 10, 9, 8. While the Sea God was counting, suddenly, a dragon roared. Roar. The terrifying dragon roar resounded through the world. The next second, silver light exploded. A silver dragon appeared from a distance. On the back of the silver dragon, there was a beautiful woman with silver hair. The silver dragon was the silver dragon King Yu, and the woman on his back was Now Yu, and when releasing the power of the Silver Dragon King, Yu can be equivalent to the second-level god combat power, and can be equivalent to the third-level god combat power. Silver Dragon King? The sea snake frowned when he saw this. It's Yu and Chu Ye and the other two looked happy. Brother Chu Ye. Sisters Ye. Fight with confidence. With us here, no matter what this despicable old dog sea god does, he can't even think of harming Wuhan City. Held a silver dragon spear in her hand, looking heroic. Yu, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong all smiled. Now, they didn't have any worries. Demon Whale King, Snow Emperor, Ice Emperor, Shao, Erming, you all stay here. Deming, Ice Bear King, you also stay here and protect Wuhan City. Yes. Master. Chu Ye and Qian Renxue's 7 souls responded at the same time, dispersed, and guarded the entire Wuhan City. The power of the soul could not participate in the face of such a strong man, so the guarding work was just right. Yu and were also guarded at this height. But Yu was eager to move and wanted to participate in the battle. Chu Ye took a look, retracted his gaze, and looked at the Sea God, with boundless fighting and killing intent ignited. Swear, teacher, now. Let's have a big fight. Okay. Go. Sea God. Die. At this moment, Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong all burst out with the strongest aura, fiercely killing the Sea God, roaring at the same time. TSK, it's really the way. The Sea God looked unhappy, but with Yu and as the guardians, he really couldn't go there again and use the method just now. Well. Even so, you are not my opponent. The sea god also had a murderous look on his face and killed Chu Ye and the other two. Just the three of you. Ah. Bang 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 bang. Boom boom boom. Ah. Bang. The two sides finally started a fierce fight. In the huge sky, the fierce battle continued. The three of them besieged the sea god frantically, and the sea god dealt with Chu Ye and the other two on his own. Various skills emerged one after another, bombing in turns, and the fierce fighting in close combat never stopped. The two sides fought hard for a while, and they were evenly matched. Chu Ye and the other two were barely able to deal with the sea god, but it was obvious that they were slightly at a disadvantage. The four people were in the sky, like four shadows of different colors, flashing at high speed, colliding and fighting at high speed. Every energy collision was like a huge explosion, constantly flashing in the sky. The battle between the four people stunned everyone below. For them, they had never seen such a battle between god-level strongmen. That kind of power made countless people feel fear, terror, and shock, and it was deeply imprinted in their hearts. This battle between the four gods will become a picture that countless people in Wuhan City will never forget. Sea God Trident, second style, 1,000 years of sky. Back off. Ah! The sea god screamed loudly, madly turning the sea god trident in his hand, and countless halberd shadows like golden light clouds burst out crazily. Chu Ye has the wings of the dragon god, Qian Renxue has the wings of an angel, and Bai Dong also has the 6-winged purple wings attached to her soul bones. All three of them have the ability to fly at high speeds in the air. Zwire, teacher, go to the clouds. Okay. They quickly avoided the halberds while smashing the halberd shadows. Unknowingly, the battlefield had already approached the clouds. Bang! The sea god also burst up and rushed up in an instant. Puff puff puff. Chu Ye, Qian Renxue, and Bai Dong rushed through the clouds first and stood on top of the clouds. The sea god chased after them and rushed through the clouds in the next few seconds and came to the top of the clouds. The sea god then unknowingly discovered that the battlefield had risen from a few hundred meters above the sky to the height of the clouds thousands of meters above. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.